points for Coventry!
Matt Robbins has them well drilled, some good quality individual players as well.
Absolutely amazing. You think of the turmoil that club's been through, but it's some story.
O'Hare finds Matt Godden inside the box. O'Hare! 3-1! Game over! Points wrapped up! Coventry City have ended Leicester City's long unbeaten run.
That might be job done. And Millwall have scored again.
What a finish. What a finish.
Chance here at the edge of the penalty area. Oh, what a strike that is from Fleming for Millwall.
The Coventry fans have not stopped.
This is TalkSport 2. This is the Championship, and this is why we love it.
Hello to you wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport 2 from the Coventry Building Society Arena. I'm Ian Danter. Alongside me today on TalkSport 2 is former Liverpool and Sheffield United women's striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Now, Coventry City may start the day in 10th place in the Championship, but 3 points here this Sunday lunchtime will catapult them back into the top 6 that they've been in and around these past few weeks. Mark Robins has once again brought in new signings to replenish and replacing this squad that came so close to Premier League football last May. The playoffs, again, a very realistic concern for the Sky Blues, although Robins' old club, Norwich City, did end their recent 10-game unbeaten league run at Carrow Road last weekend. Millwall, on the other hand, arrive here having lost 4 of their last 5 in all competitions and only picking up 1 league point at home in that time. That was against Preston at the Den, leaving them just 4 points above the drop zone. Joe Edwards took over in November, but the 4-0 away win he began with at Sheffield Wednesday hasn't been indicative of the club's form, and an upturn in fortunes drastically needed. Team news: will Coventry make just 1 change from the side that won 4-1 here in the FA Cup replay against Sheffield Wednesday in midweek, and that comes in goal. Brad Collins is the regular Championship keeper, so Ben Wilson drops to the bench. Otherwise, it's as you were. Brad Collins then the keeper, Milan van Ewijk, Joe Latibeaudiere, Louis Binks and Jay Da Silva in a back 4, Victor Torp, their recent signing from Sarpsborg in Denmark, and Josh Eccles in midfield, and then Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, Callum O'Hare and Casey Palmer in behind Haji Wright. As for Millwall, will they make 4 changes from their most recent match, a 1-0 defeat up at the MKM against Hull City. No change in the back 4, goalkeeper and back 3, but Danny McNamara comes in for the injured Brooke Norton-Cuffy, who can't play against the club he was on loan with last season because of injury. George Honeyman is preferred to George Saville in midfield, and Romain Essa, the 18-year-old from the Millwall Academy, he comes in as part of the front 3 in place of Duncan Watmore. So it's Maciej Sarkic in goal for Millwall. Their back 3, Japhet Tanganga, Wes Harding and Jake Cooper. Danny McNamara and Joe Bryan will be the wing-backs right and left. Casper Donare and George Honeyman in midfield, and then Roman Esse and Zion Fleming, the joint top scorer, in behind Michael Obafemi in attack. Morning to you, Courtney. How's it going?
Good morning. I'm very, very well.
So only 1 change for Coventry, 4 for Millwall. What do you make to those switches that the 2 managers have made?
Well, I think for Coventry, they're in a position really where the team is starting to pick itself because of the form they're in. Yes, I know they lost at Carrow Road against Norwich, but you know, in terms of their form here and in the last few games, it's been fantastic. Callum O'Hare for me is unbelievable. The way that he's hit the ground running, having such a long injury layoff, is incredible. So they're very strong here, very strong at home, only lost once, so I'm not surprised that there's not too much tinkering by Mark Robins. And I think on the other side of it for Millwall, they're still trying to find really their best side. For winless in the Championship, so they're trying to snap out of that run, but I think there's still that sort of opportunity at the moment for Millwall to try and find their best team, and that's why I think we see a lot of tinkering with them to finally really try and nail down what is their best team, because as of yet I don't think we've really seen it.
Well, we're less than 10 minutes from kick-off here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. You're listening to the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. It's time now for us to get a quick weather report on TalkSport 2, thanks to our friends at QuickFit.
Game day weather report on TalkSport 2 with QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
We're here at the Coventry Building Society Arena for Coventry against Millwall, where, well, it's just dank, isn't it? It's just a bit dull today, isn't it, Courtney? There's no sunshine, cloud above, but it's all very high cloud, but it's all a bit dull and dank. There's a bit of fog on the way up as well as I was driving up to Coventry today. Meanwhile, in the Premier League, West Ham welcome Arsenal. Safe and match fit. Selected centres.
Game day weather report on TalkSport 2 with Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
So about 7 minutes to kick off. Stadium filling up nicely, particularly around us. We're sat in the West Stand here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, with the Coventry fans in the North Stand, the most vociferous. Millwall have brought probably about 1,000 fans, I would say, that are in the South Stand away to our right-hand side. High time we got some odds ahead of kick-off from our friends at William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
As we say good morning to Alex Dunn from William Hill, let's have the outright odds for this particular game then, please, Alex. Coventry Millwall.
Yeah, Coventry are 3-4. The draw 5-2. Millwall 100-30. One of those games, isn't it, where you would expect a home win. Courtney mentioned it there. Coventry pretty strong at home. They've lost just once at home in the league all season. A lot of draws in there, granted, but you would expect Coventry to come out on top. And if you were looking for a little bit more juice out of that price, maybe Coventry and both teams to score is 13-5. But I think all in all, you would expect a home win. That's reflected in the odds. Coventry at 3-4.
Goal scorers, first goal scorers maybe? What's that market say?
Yeah, I thought, well, had you right first goal scorer 5-1, Michael Obafemi's 8-1, but the one that stood out to me was Callum O'Hare, who has been in decent nick. He's 15-2 to score first, which is pretty nice, but I prefer the 11-4 for him to score any time, to be honest. I think that'll give you a really good run for your money, to be fair.
You're getting a nod of the head from Courtney Sweet-McKirk on that one. Just generally after all yesterday's football, Ipswich dropping points at home, Southampton keeping their run going, Leeds keeping their run going, Leicester the leaders on top. Can you give us just some rough championship odds for promotion?
Yeah, as far as promotion's concerned, Leicester are away and gone. They're 200-1 on. Southampton 4-11, Leeds 4-11, Ipswich 15-8. So this is for promotion. Obviously includes going through the playoffs. Yeah. Then at bigger prices, West Brom 6-1, Sunderland 10-1, Coventry are 14-1. So if they win today, Coventry, they do manage to leapfrog Sunderland. They're back in the playoff hunt. I've seen worse pokes. You can see teams building up momentum in the second half of the season. I certainly think Coventry have got a squeak of doing that, but as far as the top of the table is concerned, obviously the cream really is rising to the top. It's just sliding away a little. They're 15-8 to go up now. Southampton and Leeds have got the momentum, haven't they?
Smashing, Alex. Thank you very much indeed. That's Alex there with all the odds, thanks to our friends at William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18 plus. begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill, giving you the tools for positive play. Take time to think and know your limits. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Just to remind you that we are not far away from the Super Bowl live on TalkSport, and that's tonight from 10:30 on TalkSport. Nat Coombs along with Will Gavin and the NFL broadcasting legend Jeff Reinbold, live from the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. All the build-up from 10:30, and the game will get underway at 11:30. See if you can last the night with TalkSport's free coverage of the Super Bowl 58. And of course the 5-match test series between England and India is beautifully poised at 1 apiece. And next Thursday from 3:30 in the morning here on TalkSport 2, the third test will get underway from Rajkot, and David Bumble Lloyd joins our commentary team for that test match. And we know that Virat Kohli, the Indian skipper, is now out of the entire series. A massive blow for the Indian test side. Can England take advantage in Rajkot? You'll find out live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary from our terrific team from 3:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. And if you want a bit more football fix in the next couple of days, well, we've got Monday night game night for you tomorrow. Crystal Palace against Chelsea is an 8 o'clock kickoff. The coverage starts at 7 p.m. on TalkSport. Adrian Durham, your genial host, and Sam Matterface and former England midfielder Danny Murphy will be the commentary team alongside Adrian at Selhurst Park. can Chelsea continue what's been slightly better form of late, having won handsomely at Aston Villa in the FA Cup. But back to matters here. We're waiting for the teams to emerge from the tunnel down to our left-hand side. And you're dead right in what you say, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Coventry at home, only West Brom have won here. I saw them beat Leicester here. You saw them beat my lot here, but very convincingly too in both cases. Yeah, extremely so. And you know, we were speaking, weren't we, before the game about Mark Robins and what a fantastic job he's done at this club, and actually the fact that he's not getting linked to more jobs. And you know, the Coventry fans around us will be happy about that, because you know what a job he's doing. But I think, you know, there's been some changes within the club with performance directors and chief execs, and I think there's now more of an expectation on Robins to, I think it's 3 out of 5 that's come out and said, you know, 3 out of 5 of the seasons you need to get playoffs. So maybe he's under a little bit more pressure, but still doing a great job. Well, he never comes across as a man under pressure, Mark Robins. He's always pretty zen about the whole championship situation. And let's face it, Coventry snuck in the last couple of weeks of last season and got all the way to the playoff final, only to lose to Luton Town. But here they are with a chance to get back into the top 6, and the clocks haven't even gone back forward yet. Here we are in early February, and Coventry are amongst that chasing pack for what appears to be, Courtney, 2 playoff spots. How about Millwall, though? Just 4 points above the drop zone at the moment. How concerned are you for them? I would be, because I think I mentioned it. I don't think they quite know what the best side of, you know, what their best side is yet, how they play the best. Obviously it's a while back now, but Gary Browett leaving the club and sort of that change in management, so it does take time to adapt for the manager to get those messages across to the players, and the managers to decide what the best side is. But it very much needs to be sooner rather than later, because the last thing that you want to do at the turn of the year is start getting dragged into those relegation battles, so that they've got to start picking up points sooner rather than later. So both sides going through their final preparations, and nice to see that both clubs are in their first choice strips this afternoon. Coventry in all sky blue with that little graded lighter blue stripe on the shirt. Millwall in their navy blue shirts and socks with white shorts. Just a reminder of the lineups again for Coventry. It's Collins in goal, Van Ewijk, Latibeaudiere, Binks and De Silva in a back 4, Torp and Eccles holding in midfield, Sakamoto, O'Hare and Palmer in behind right in attack. For Millwall, Sarkic the goalkeeper, Tanganga, Harding and Cooper in a back 3, McNamara and Bryan the wing backs, Denore and Honeyman in midfield, and then Fleming and Esse in behind Obafemi in attack. Andrew Kitching is our referee. It's his first year refereeing at championship level. He's been on the EFL books for a few years now, but this is his first season doing regular championship fixtures. Let me remind you the benches as well. For Coventry, their benches at Wilson, the sub-keeper, Thomas, Kelly, Sims, Bidwell, Godden, Tavares, Lusala and Stretton. For Millwall, their bench, Bialkowski is the sub-keeper, along with Wallace, Mitchell, Bradshaw, Mayer, Campbell, Leonard, Watmore and Saville. You'll hear more from Mark Robins at half-time, incidentally, who was chatting with our own Ian Abrahams just prior to these weekend's fixtures, as he approaches, Courtney, 7 years in charge. He is comfortably the longest-serving championship manager. Yeah, it's incredible, not just within the championship, but you know, within any form of football, to stay in a job for that long. But it shows what you can create and the togetherness that you can create with the fans, with the staff, with the players, if managers are given time to implement what they want, and Mark Robins is the epitome of that. And even though Joe Edwards, the Millwall manager, was appointed on November the 6th, he's nowhere near the most recent championship manager to come in. John Eustace, of course, arriving at Blackburn yesterday and getting a win. Underway on TalkSport 2, Millwall in their dark blue shirts and socks. They're kicking towards the south stand in the first half, where their supporters are. And they've immediately want to throw that Japhet Tanganga, on loan from Spurs, will try and launch into the Coventry City penalty area here. They've got Jake Cooper, who's a huge frame, to go and stand right next to Bradley Collins, as Tanganga from the right launches the throw into the near post. It's flicked on and it almost got all the way through, and it's turned behind for a corner kick. was turned behind right at the death. It looked for a moment that somebody was going to be able to steer it in right on the line for Millwall. Corner kick, 0-0.
Yeah, I think it initially gets a flick on by a Millwall player, and then, not sure, I think it's Hadji Wright that goes for it, gets a touch on it, and it takes another deflection on the way. It's a well-worked set piece, and having a long throw specialist in the team, I think, is always very dangerous, because the trajectory you can get on the ball, it's a lot flatter.
And it'll be a corner once the referee sorted out a bit of pushing and shoving. He's spotted in the 6-yard box. He's looking at Wes Harding, I think, who's standing right on the goalkeeper. It's going to be Joe Bryan to take this corner for Millwall. Not a couple of minutes gone yet, 0-0, but a big chance early on for the London Lions. In it comes from Bryan, right under the crossbar, and punched away strongly by Collins, but Millwall will retrieve possession. It's on this near side with McNamara, clips it down the right-hand side, and a lovely twist and a turn down the right-hand side from Romain Esse, and he whips a ball in. It's cleared away at the near post, comes out to McNamara, right-hand corner of the box, sends it in, and it's Callum O'Hare back defending, I think, who helps get it clear. And now O'Hare on the break as Coventry come forward. Sakamoto on the right-hand side. Harding thought about going in for a challenge, but hang back for a moment. Hadji Wright, right-hand side, gives the ball back to Van Ewijk, and Coventry go back to halfway. The impetus of that counter-attack is gone. 2 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a shame, because I think Hadji Wright makes a fantastic run. He holds out initially, then goes down the channel, but that opens up the space in the middle of the box for someone to drive into. But I just think the break was that quick that nobody could get up quick enough.
Here is Victor Torp, recent arrival from Sarpsborg. They're already calling in the torpedo here because of the goal he scored on debut against Sheffield Wednesday in the first cup tie, which was a bit of a rocket from downtown. Ball's in the Coventry half as Joe Latibaudiere passes into the centre circle. And it's Josh Eccles out to this near side, and Jay Da Silva. Eccles again looks for the taller man Torp next to him in the centre of midfield for Coventry City. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. McNamara wins the ball back for Millwall. Honeyman just touches it down to Tanganga, and now McNamara again loses out. Honeyman gets a foot in. Wes Harding steps across from centre half, clears it against Casey Palmer, but McNamara and Honeyman between them will help it onto halfway. But Coventry get the ball back into their possession with Torp. Down for Latibaudiere, once of the Manchester City Academy, and broke through at Swansea City in the end. Sakamoto just over the halfway line for Coventry. Good early tempo to this game on TalkSport 2. 3 minutes gone, goalless. And Jay Da Silva nicks the ball in field for Eccles, who's being pressurised by Honeyman. Gives the ball back to Louis Binks. Now Casey Palmer wrestling with Tanganga, and Tanganga pushed him to the ground right in front of the referee. Free kick, Coventry 0-0.
Really good by Casey Palmer, but that's because McNamara, he jumps out of position too quickly for my liking, and then Casey Palmer is clever. He just gets on the half turn within that space that's been vacated.
He's in possession now. Palmer gives the ball to Callum O'Hare, who gives it straight back to the number 45. Palmer looks up to Silva, showing from down the line, but it's quite tight on this near touch line. Coventry attacking the north stand to our left in this first half. Neat turn from Victor Torp, and Palmer has now moved in field, finds Sakamoto, and Palmer was trying to volley it out to Van Ewijk on the right wing. Millwall couldn't get the ball clear. Now Van Ewijk's away, right hand side of the box, pulls it back. Sakamoto, great save, Sarkic, and Hadji Wright hits the post twice on the follow-up, and somehow it stays out, and Sarkic dives on the ball gratefully. Sakamoto's initial shot was well saved. It came straight out to the American Hadji Wright. 2 bites of the cherry, both off the upright. 0-0 it stays.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Dan, both of them have got a score. I don't think Sakamoto does enough with the first ball. Yes, it's a decent save by Sarkic, don't get me wrong, but I think he's got to do better. And then, because the ball comes out to Hadji Wright so quickly, is so close, he just tries to direct it. I think it comes off the post, it then takes another deflection on the way in, but Coventry should certainly be one up.
Massive chance then for Hadji Wright, who's been in a bit better form of late for Coventry City. Cost them 7 million plus from Antalyaspor in Turkey. Scored 16 last season in Turkish football, and he's on the charge through the middle here as Brad Collins just launched a long ball straight down the centre of the pitch, but Millwall's defenders dealt with it well, and it's back with Matija Sarkic, bedecked in a sort of a mottled pink goalkeeping outfit today for Millwall, telling his centre-halves to clear out the penalty area, and he will chip the ball into the centre circle. Goes over the head of Latibeaudiere and over the head of Fleming. And now it's with Obafemi. Just lays it off to George Honeyman. Spread out to the near side to us, the Millwall right, and McNamara, who comes in field. Then it's driven over to the far side by Casper Denori with his shaved blonde hair. Back it goes to Jake Cooper. Denori again has to go back into his own half for Wes Harding. 3 at the back for Millwall, and the left-sided centre-half Cooper fell to the ground as he tried to clip the ball down the left-hand side for Obafemi to give chase, but it just trickled through to Brad Collins. Torp under pressure inside his own half of Coventry, but managed to get the ball up to Wright on halfway. Wouldn't stick with Wright, and it's back with Millwall once again, and Denori, good strong run from him down the left-hand side, rode the challenge quite superbly, tried to guide it back to Joe Bryan, actually escapes the attentions of Bryan, but Jake Cooper tidies up for Millwall, moves into the Coventry half on the far left-hand side of the field. Casper Denori again, yet to score since joining from Belgian football, former Belgian under-21 midfielder. Good ball down the Millwall right for McNamara. Up against Jay Da Silva, lays it off to George Honeyman. Honeyman with a diagonal ball into the box, just over the head of Obafemi. Van Ewijk was there to get the ball half clear, and then it's lobbed up to halfway, but Cooper will get there ahead of Wright. And then Coventry will guide the ball down into the path of Sakamoto. And Torp again with another lovely turn, this time to get away from Denore, and he slips it down the right-hand side for Callum O'Hare. O'Hare getting to about 35 yards out, twisting and turning, right-hand corner of the box, trying to clip it in for Wright, but Millwall win it back, 0-0.
There's a couple of lovely turns though already from Torp. The way that he uses his body, drops the shoulder just to give himself half a yard and then comes out with it, but then he's got that quality on the ball, that presence of mind to find a sky blue shirt as well.
He was in the stands when I was here for Coventry beating Leicester a couple of weeks ago, having just signed from Sarpsborg, just taking it all in. And he's been given his chance pretty much straight away by Mark Robbins in the centre of Coventry's midfield. 7 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Coventry 0, Millwall 0. Coventry bidding to go back into the Championship's top 6. Millwall starting the day just 4 points above the bottom 3 in England's second tier. Right, heavy touch from him, couldn't keep control of it, and it drifted out, and Wes Harding, who came through the Birmingham City Academy but didn't get that many chances, really emerged when he went to Rotherham United, the Jamaican, and he's going to lead the throw for Spurs loanee Japhet Tanganga. Tanganga looks for Honeyman, under pressure immediately from Eccles, so he goes back for Jake Cooper. And Cooper will get just over the halfway line, chips the ball forward looking for Obafemi. It'll break for McNamara, right hand side of the box. Obafemi with his back to goal, turns, gets it onto his right foot, hits it straight at Collins, who pats it down, and Jay Da Silva lobs it away. Throw into Millwall, 0-0.
It actually comes to something in the end, but I think McNamara has probably got more time than he thinks there. I think he can take another touch, drive into the box, and then maybe cut it back to a teammate. But this is where Millwall are causing Coventry problems on that right hand side. Both the the wing backs go and overload the midfield, and Da Silva is getting caught in two minds at times. You know, does he go to McNamara on the right hand side? There's Eze as well that's sort of occupying the half space, so that's where they're overloading Coventry, and it's working well.
That's the voice of Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me, Ian Danter. Courtney, former Sheffield United and Liverpool women's striker. We are your home of the EFL, proud of that too. TalkSport 2 at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry 0, Millwall 0 as we approach 10 minutes in the Midlands. Van Ewijk, who scored against Leicester for his second goal and treated it like he'd scored a goal in a World Cup final. Such was his joy. Da Silva, the other full-back, works the ball back in field to Louis Binks, and now Eccles splits the two centre-halves for a moment and then passes left for Binks, still inside his own half here. Da Silva on halfway, tries to set Callum O'Hare away down the Coventry left, but Harding comfortably there first to guide it back to his keeper. Sarkic with a first-time clearance. It will stay in play on this near side, the Millwall right, but Binks steps forward and heads it out of play for a Millwall throw. 0-0.
Interesting there, O'Hare, when he's pressing hard and he was never going to get to the ball, but then he's telling Hadji Wright to get up. He knows it's going to go back to the goalkeeper, so try and get a bit of pressure on Sarkic there.
Wright's got 8 goals this season. He is the top scorer at Coventry City, the American. Although O'Hare, having just got back into the team's already on 6.
Yeah, he's incredible since the December when he came back, made his first start. The impact that he's made, considering the length of time he was out. I think, we've seen it before. I think a great example is Virgil van Dijk. Yes, he was back playing, but he took quite a while to get back to his best, whereas Callum O'Hare has hit the ground running.
Millwall have a free kick just over the halfway line, right next to where Mark Robinson stood at the edge of his technical area. 11 minutes gone. Coventry 0, Millwall 0. McNamara sends a diagonal free kick to the left-hand corner of the area. Cooper heads it into the Coventry box, but it's volleyed away by Lati Bogier. Honeyman guides it down, and Joe Bryan, the last man, keeps it away from Callum O'Hare and nods it back to his keeper, Sarkic. Sarkic with the ball out to the left-hand side. Cooper stayed forward, and he's found the ball to Casper Denore. He's gone into the box. Zion Fleming in there too, and it's just driven in for a goal. Romain Esse has given Millwall the lead, suddenly let fly with his left boot. As Fleming got into the area, the ball got away from him, but it ran through for the youngster. And Romain Esse, who scored on the opening weekend against Middlesbrough, scores again, and Millwall have an unlikely lead at the CBS Arena. Coventry 0, Millwall 1.
Tell you what though, Dance, it's a fantastic strike, but this all comes from the transition from Coventry. So the ball goes long, Callum O'Hare again, he's chasing, he's telling everyone to get up with him. The ball goes back, and as you mentioned, Cooper's still up there, and they just get caught in the transition. Coventry, there's such a big gap between the midfield and the defence, and Denore does really well initially, and then when it drops to Eze, it's a fantastic strike. He hits it quickly, doesn't let Collins get set, finds the corner. It's a wonderful strike, and I probably would say a little bit against the run of play, but I think Millwall were growing into this game.
So Romain Esse, just 18 years young, an academy graduate in South Bermondsey, scored the winner when they beat Middlesbrough on the opening weekend, and he's put Millwall in front here against the playoff chasing Sky Blues. 13 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. And Coventry try and send the ball up to halfway, and here is O'Hare scampering over the halfway line. Honeyman with a brilliant challenge to win the ball back for Millwall, and then Esse, the goal scorer, plays a 1-2 with Obafemi, who held the ball up well on halfway. Now the ball's with McNamara on the Millwall right, and he just tidies it back for Tanganga. Drops his shoulder to get away from O'Hare. That was neatly done, but then Tanganga looks for the invisible man over on the far side of the field. I think Joe Bryan was about 20 yards further back than he expected, and Coventry have a throw. 13 minutes gone. Coventry 0, Millwall 1, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Yeah, and I don't mind the idea. Obviously the execution's really poor, but as I mentioned, and it's similar for the goal, the wide areas are really the place that Millwall are managing to hurt Coventry. The wing-backs are getting high and they're overloading. The midfielders aren't coming across for Coventry to help the defenders. Heavy touch from Casey Palmer on halfway, just gave the ball straight back to Romain Esse. And then Fleming knocks it back to Cooper on halfway. Honeyman takes over down the left-hand side, faced up by Van Ewijk. Bryan knocks it in field to Denore, and then Honeyman has it again, scheming around the halfway line, hits a diagonal ball, trying to get McNamara in behind. That's a sensational ball from Honeyman. McNamara pulls it back, Obafemi with a drive, and it's kept out, shoveled away by Brad Collins. That would have been a quite superb counter-attacking goal from Millwall, but Collins denies Obafemi, and it stays 1-0 to the Lions. Yeah, and it's another one where Collins does well, but similar to the opportunity with Sakamoto earlier, I think Obafemi has to do better there. He hits the target, but it's almost like he's just trying to find the target rather than really hit through the ball. But it's a fantastic ball to find McNamara, and this is a real issue now. And De Silva, he's got to be able to see the half space, and that ball travels 60 yards, so he's got the time to get across, but he's got to open his body up and see where McNamara is. What a pass though from George Honeyman, what a spot to see the run that McNamara was making. And Obafemi on loan from Burnley, yet to score in Millwall's colours. May not have a better chance than that all afternoon here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, where we played a quarter of an hour. Coventry 0, Millwall 1. Here's Tanganga for Millwall, finding McNamara, forced back to halfway, but Tanganga receives it back and goes all the way back to Matthias Sarkic, who's got plenty of experience of playing football in the Midlands with Wolves and with Birmingham City, joined from Wolves. Kept 6 clean sheets so far this season. He would dearly love to keep a 7th now that Millwall are in front here. Here's Denore. Oh, he's lost out to O'Hare just over the halfway line, but back came Fleming to try and put a foot in and stop a counter-attack. Honeyman headed it down to Denore, who was being wrestled to the ground by O'Hare. And you sense, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, that between Honeyman and O'Hare on either side, it's those two players and what they do that's going to have the biggest effect on the result here this afternoon.
Yeah, it is, and there's 2 areas to look at in terms of what the wing-backs, especially McNamara, is doing. One, obviously the defenders, the full-backs have got to do better, but also in terms of Honeyman, it's a fantastic ball, but it's got to be stopped at source, so that's where Coventry have got to get higher, they've got to get closer to Honeyman so he can't play those balls.
Free kick to Millwall, taken by Sarkic, midpoint of his own half, the goalkeeper. Clips it up to the edge of the area. The giant Cooper knobs it down. Obafemi turns at the edge of the D, trying to make space for a shot. There were plenty of sky blue shirts around him, and Coventry get it clear. Van Eyck just put his foot through it, and Sarkic will collect from pretty much where he took the free kick. Now he hits a diagonal ball out, looking for the goal scorer Esse, up against Jay Da Silva, and the diminutive Da Silva got the better of Esse that time, and it goes back to Lati Baudier. More live football to come on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 over the next couple of days. Chelsea Palace tomorrow night, on Monday night, game night on TalkSport with Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface and Danny Murphy. Championship on Tuesday, Swansea against Leeds. And then on Wednesday, Millwall Ipswich. We're back with the Lions again. Here's Denore up to the edge of the area. Zion Fleming trying to take a touch. He's being hassled and harried. Works it back for Esse. Out to the Millwall right wing. McNamara with a deep cross to the far post. Collins punches it into the danger zone. He's almost punished. Comes out to Joe Bryan, who fires a left-footed shot just wide of the post. And Millwall very nearly 2 up as Coventry looked a little uncertain at the back.
Yeah, they're just completely overrun. Because what happens is, even if it doesn't go out to the wide areas with McNamara and Bryan, then you've got Fleming, Obafemi and Esse there then working it, so the fact that, you know, that Coventry back 4 are struggling to pick them all up. You've then got Denore that's then coming late from the midfield, so it's almost 4v4, and then you've got the freedom of McNamara and Bryan in the wide areas.
Tanganga gets his head to the goal kick clearance from Brad Collins, goes out for a Coventry throw. 18 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Coventry 0, Millwall 1. Romain Esse on 12 minutes, putting Millwall ahead. Coventry send the ball forward, trying to get Hadji right into the game, and it's Wes Harding this time who cushions a header out of play for a Coventry throw, right next to our commentary position. Our commentary position in the West Stand, closer to Matthias Sarkic's goal than Brad Collins in the South Stand, and we're about 20 rows back from pitch level. Really good viewpoint here at Coventry City as Palmer is caught by McNamara, takes the free kick quickly, and it's worked down in front of our commentary position with Jay Da Silva on the left. Early ball in field for Hadji Wright, tried to burst between 2 players, and Denore pulled back on his shoulder, and now Coventry City have a free kick 25 yards out to the left of centre. Somebody's going to go for goal from here. Coventry 0, Millwall 1.
Yeah, it's a fantastic area. It's just enough away from the box for the fact that you can get it back up and over the wall. That's a bit of inventiveness from Coventry, the fact that they're playing it quickly. Callum O'Hare, of course, is at the heart of it. He wants the ball, playing it round to Jay Da Silva on this left-hand side, and then, rightly so, it's punched into Hadji Wright, and he manages to win the free kick.
Victor Torp is the man standing over it, the recent arrival from Sarpsborg. So it's 25 yards out to the left of centre. There's a 5-man wall for Millwall. Now it's 4 as Honeyman moves away. Torp runs up to the ball, right-footed, clatters it goalwards, tipped over by Sarkic. Got quickly across to his right and tipped it over the bar for Coventry's first corner of the game. 1-0 Millwall.
Yeah, it's a big save from Sarkic. It's not quite as in the corner as Torp will have wanted it to give the keeper no chance, but he certainly hits it with a lot of venom and gets it up and down quick enough, but it's Sarkic does well to get across his goal.
I think that was creeping under the crossbar if Sarkic hadn't got a touch. Corner to Coventry. Torp's come across to this near side to take it, the northwest corner. Palmer's lurking at the edge of the area, so Sakamoto. Wright's the only Coventry player in the 6-yard box. Players making a run from the far side as it comes in. Denore got a thigh on it at the near post. It wasn't the best delivery from Torp, but it's gone behind for a second successive corner to Coventry. Millwall 1 up.
And it wasn't the best delivery. You've got to make sure, first and foremost, you've got to beat that first man at the front post.
So Torp spots the ball down again. On the white line, there's a rarity, rather than trying to gain as much centimetres as you can. Torp again then, right-footed, goes deeper to the far post, over Hadji's head, sails over his head. Honeyman gets a vital foot in to stop Sakamoto getting a touch, and the ball will trickle out of play for a Coventry throw further back towards the halfway line on their right-hand side. 1-0 to Millwall if you're just tuning in to TalkSport 2. We played nearly a quarter of the game. Romain Esse with a thumping left-footed finish with the ball broke to him inside the penalty area. Left Brad Collins in the Coventry goal standing as the ball rifled past him in front of those Millwall fans, delighted with the way that the visitors have started this game as they bid to get away from trouble. They've won 4 away games so far this season, drawn 5 and lost 6. As we mentioned, Coventry's only defeat here came in the autumn against West Bromwich Albion. Coventry have won a free kick after Esse was using a bit too much physicality on Louis Binks, and he's been booked as well for that challenge, and he can't believe he has been booked by Andrew Kitching, and I must say neither can I, Courtney.
No, I can't, and I think Coventry have got away with one there. They're playing themselves into trouble. Jay De Silva initially, he checks us, is it going to go long? He comes short, receives the ball and just doesn't do enough with it, and equally there's probably not enough movement around him to play the ball. Coventry don't look themselves in this first 23 minutes.
They don't, and they're in possession with Torp, back forward Joel Latibeaudiere, just moves into the centre circle. Eccles gives it back to Latibeaudiere, and now Binks to his left will stroke it out to this near touchline and De Silva, but McNamara straight on top of him, so he can't make any progress down this near side, the Coventry left. So Coventry have switched play over to the right hand side. It's with Van Ewijk still inside his own half, and he plays a 1-2 with Torp, and Millwall are forcing Coventry back more and more and more, and a clearance from Collins might break for Callum O'Hare. It's a neat cushion header, and Victor Torp now under pressure from Denore, and Denore has fouled him. I thought for a moment Millwall had won possession back cleanly, but referee Kitching said that was a foul. 1-0 Millwall.
Well, I suppose when you look at it like that, the consistency of the two fouls, I don't think either are fouls, but if you give one, you've got to give the other. But you speak about Millwall, they've been so aggressive in the press and playing 3 at the back, and they have spent more time in a 3 rather than the 5, and McNamara and Bryan are getting really high, and you see as soon as the fullbacks for Coventry get the ball, they go, and they're so aggressive in the press, and that's why Coventry have struggled to get out.
That's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me, Ian Danter here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. You're listening to Coventry 0, Millwall 1 in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDonald's with McDelivery on the McDonald's app and you get tasty rewards points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Throw to Millwall, midway point of the Coventry half of the field, over on the far side of the field from us in the east stand side. Joe Bryan looking for an option. Denoris comes short. Obafemi screaming for it at the corner of the penalty area. Denore receives it, but he was always struggling to get the ball under control, and then O'Hare tries to roll it up to Hadji Wright. He felt he was being held by Jake Cooper, and Millwall won it back, and again the ball swung from left to right to find Danny McNamara, but his attempted 1-2 with Esse doesn't come off. Louis Binks turns away from Esse, gives the ball back to Eccles inside his own penalty area. Again, Millwall pressing high up the field, and as Van Ewijk tries to clear, it comes off the backside of Zion Fleming and goes behind for a Coventry goal kick. The Millwall fans behind that goal in the south stand, delighted with what they're seeing from Joe Edwards' team. Rightly so, and I said Coventry weren't themselves, but you've got to give Millwall credit for the way they've pressed, how aggressive they've been, and in terms of trying to smother Coventry. And you see there, not normally that flappable at the back, but it's the pressure that's being put on them that they're second guessing what to do with the ball, Coventry, and there's been a lack of recognition of where the space is because the wing backs are getting high. There's so much space down the side, but they're not able to get the ball that high up the pitch at the moment. Here's George Honeyman for Millwall. It's got a nudge in the back there from O'Hare. I thought, well, not spotted by the referee. Joe Edwards imploring with the referee to make a decision, but Coventry have the ball back and there's no foul. Binks passes the ball up to halfway. Little touch from Casey Palmer, trying to lay it off to O'Hare. Got away from him. De Silva works it in field, but it's stolen back by Denori. Now Obafemi tries to lob it down the left-hand side of the area, expecting Fleming to have made a run, which he hadn't done, and it's back with Coventry. But Van Ewijk is then dispossessed by Fleming down the left-hand side. Coventry at 6s and 7s at the back at the moment. Played down the dead ball line for Casper Denori. Works it back for Fleming by the corner flag. Trying to get the better of Van Ewijk to get a cross in for Millwall. Back for Joe Bryan on the left-hand side. Drives for the byline. Hits it against Van Ewijk. It's crossed in. Latibaudiere heads it up in the air at the near post. And then Torp volleys clear. Sakamoto trying to keep it in play, but it just bobbles out for a Millwall throw. And the Lions are enjoying the Lions' share. 1-0 up.
Yeah, they are. And Collins came for that ball as well, and he was in no man's land. Didn't get anywhere near it, and just the communication at that point between themselves and the defenders wasn't good enough. That comes off a Millwall head. It trickles in the back of the net, Dance.
Throw into Millwall. Midway point of the Coventry half on the Millwall left. Obafemi receives it from Bryan, works it back to Cooper. Cooper just lobs a high ball up to the left-hand corner of the penalty area, but it's won back by Latibaudiere. And now for Coventry, their goalkeeper Brad Collins. Square ball inside his 18-yard box for Binks, and again there's a high press from those Millwall strikers. They thread the ball through eventually to Van Ewijk via a deflection off Denori, and he finds Callum O'Hare just over the halfway line, hugging the right-hand touchline. Back for Van Ewijk, and now Binks can't control the ball as it goes past him a little bit, has to check back 5 or 6 yards to retrieve the loose ball. And now Binks will find De Silva, but again McNamara straight on Jay De Silva. They are not allowing Coventry any space in behind whatsoever, Millwall, whether it's in Coventry's half or their own half. But here comes Victor Torp, finding Binks, who can get up to the halfway line. Finds De Silva again, once more within 2 paces. McNamara's right on top of him, so it goes back to Binks once more. Palmer back to help out on the halfway line. Mark Robbins shouting out instructions just down to our right-hand side to his players. 27 minutes gone. Coventry 0, Millwall 1 on TalkSport 2. Here's Van Ewijk for the Sky Blues. Cuts in field, finds Callum O'Hare, who pirouettes in the midway point of the half. Runs into Honeyman, but the ball's back with Torp for Coventry. Sakamoto out to the right-hand side, and Van Ewijk was Sakamoto caught off the ball. Coventry fans want a free kick, but instead play continues, and Jake Cooper, down by his own corner flag left-hand side, clears down the far touchline. Coventry try and win it back. Van Ewijk goes down. He was caught by Joe Bryan. Free kick down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Coventry City, who trail 1-0 here.
Yeah, that one was certainly a foul, but it's interesting in that build-up for Coventry. There was a couple of passes where the ball into O'Hare, for example, was a little bit behind him. The ball that then O'Hare plays in the end, it needs a little bit more on it. Just those little, 1% that we normally see from Coventry, especially in the final third, that they move it so quickly. It's just not quite there at the moment.
Torp will take the free kick. Millwall holding their line level with the penalty spot. It's pretty much level with the right-hand corner of the penalty area, this free kick. Yard in from the far touchline. Torp to swing it in right-footed. Sarkic waits in his 6-yard box. In it comes from Torp. A couple of players go to ground. One of them was Hadji Wright, and the ball was headed away by Honeyman to this near side, and Coventry will have a throw that Callum O'Hare wanted to take quickly initially, and eventually will give it back to Jay De Silva, who finds Binks. O'Hare collects a ball midway point of the half, gives it out left to De Silva, back to Binks on halfway. O'Hare again, who was being challenged straight away by Honeyman right next to him. And now Binks finds Palmer. Little touch, gets O'Hare away. Tried to re-release Palmer down the left-hand side. He can do it the second time of asking. Can Palmer keep it and play at the dead ball line? He can. Tries to play through the legs of Tanganga and make his way into the area. De Silva gets the better of Honeyman for a moment. Finds Palmer. Palmer level with the edge of the box, works it infield to Torp. Torp with a first-time ball trying to get Callum O'Hare inside the box, but Millwall had numbers back and got the ball away, but only half clear. And then De Silva trying to touch it in field, gives it straight to Denori. Fleming loses possession. O'Hare is caught. Torp loses possession, and that allows the referee to bring play back and give Coventry the advantage, and a free kick in the centre of the Millwall half for that challenge on Callum O'Hare. 1-0 Millwall.
This is what we're more used to seeing from Coventry, moving the ball more precisely, more quickly in the final third. Initially, I think Torp does well to try and play that ball through to Callum O'Hare, because it's Fleming that's coming back defending on his back shoulder, so does well there, but then Fleming second time of asking, makes the foul and torps over this. I think it's, despite the power that he's got within his shots, I think it's too far out to take a shot on now.
It is slightly to the left of centre and bang in the middle of the Millwall half of the field. Half an hour gone, 1-0 Millwall. It's taken short. Casey Palmer gets his head up and will give it to Torp, who's in the inside left channel now. De Silva fires the ball into O'Hare. Now Palmer turns left hand corner of the box. De Silva makes a run to the byline, pulls in across goal. It's palmed away by Sarkic at his near post, and McNamara guides it down to Esse, who will complete the clearance for Millwall. Another half chance for Coventry City to equalise.
Yeah, and it's a lot better from Coventry because they're moving the ball at a much better tempo, and actually Jay De Silva's having that bit of a battle now with McNamara. McNamara has pushed him back so much, but Jay De Silva's like, no, tell you what, I'm going to get forward, how are you going to deal with it?
Key battle in this game between the number 2 of Millwall and the number 3 of Coventry City. At the moment you would say it's the Millwall man who's on top. Eccles for Coventry, inside his own half, finds Torp on the halfway line. Now De Silva up against McNamara again, comes infield and works it infield to Callum O'Hare, tried to lob it into the box, looking for Hadji Wright, but got his angles wrong, and it just bobbled through to Matthias Sarkic. Coventry 0, Millwall 1 on your home of the EFL TalkSport 2. 31 minutes gone here at the Coventry Building Society Arena.
Well, you can tell it's better from Coventry because for the first time there for a sustained period, Millwall are actually in a back 5 rather than the 3 and making the wing backs go really high, so it's shown that they've put the pressure on, but now it's about those final touches in the last third. Can you be composed and find that killer touch? But I think for me as well, Hadji Wright in the middle needs to do a little bit better with his movement. It's quite static, and I think he needs to provide more movement, one for himself to get on the ball, but also if he moves it dislodges that back 3, and Callum O'Hare or one of the midfielders, Torp, can then try and get in that space.
But that's the problem, isn't it? It's one of Hadji Wright against 3, and what he needs, Hadji Wright, is probably O'Hare getting closer to him. I'm sure he wants to, and Palmer too, but they can't get close to him because of the way Millwall have gone about their business so far this afternoon.
Yeah, they've played extremely well and got that shape right, but as you say, I think there's a little bit of that battle because as a midfielders, because they're being overrun, you don't want to vacate that space in case Millwall break, but it's one of those you've got to, it's that risk and reward situation where they have got to get closer to Hadji Wright to be able to obviously create those opportunities, but they don't want to be outnumbered on the counter-attack.
That's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, you can hear alongside me, Ian Danta here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. 12 minutes to half-time. Coventry get away down the right-hand side. Van Ewijk to the byline, puts a cross in. Hadji Wright trying to steer it goalwards from around the 6-yard box, but didn't seem to believe in himself that he could get that shot goalwards, and it just came off his toe end and behind for a Millwall goal kick away to our left, and the Lions still lead 1-0.
It was a bit of an awkward one for Hadji Wright. It's behind him, he's stretching, it's sort of at that awkward height at a midriff, and you're trying to work out what body part you can throw towards it.
Sarkic will take the goal kick for Millwall. Up to Zion Fleming, who tried to bring the ball downfield. He's being manhandled by Van Ewijk, but Coventry bring the ball away with Eccles. Fleming got straight to his feet and tried to retrieve possession. Little dummy from Casey Palmer, and offside against Hadji Wright as he tried to latch onto the loose ball down the left side of Coventry's midfield. So Millwall will have a free kick, not quite at the midway point of their own half. Joe Edwards, 37 years young, the new Millwall manager. I say new, he's been in charge since the 6th of November. Won 4 out of his 16 games before today. He was released at 16 by Chelsea, but immediately persuaded by Chelsea to go into the coaching realm. They obviously saw something in him, a teenage player, that there was something about him that could work as a coach.
Yeah, very, very rare, but obviously his young age now, managing in the Championship, it shows they're exactly right to look at him from that perspective.
Worked with the England under-20s as well more recently, Joe Edwards. And he watches on as Esse, the goal scorer, tries to keep possession at the corner flag on the far side of the field, or from us, but it's gone out of play for a Coventry City goal kick. 10 minutes to half-time on TalkSport 2. Coventry City 0, Millwall 1, and Millwall good value for the lead. If you're just tuning in, Romain Esse with the goal on 12 minutes. Coventry have huffed and puffed, but they've not, apart from one effort that was tipped over by Matthias Sarkic and a double ricochet off the post when Hadji Wright was well placed after Sakamoto saw a shot saved. That's as close as Coventry have come. Millwall have been asking lots of questions, particularly down the flanks. But here's Callum O'Hare sprinting away for Coventry down the right-hand side. Great defending, Wes Harding coming across, showing his strength, getting there first, but his clearance is shanked out of play for a Coventry City throw. 1-0 Millwall.
You mentioned, Dance, that comes from the fact that Callum O'Hare is higher up, is closer to Hadji Wright, and now they're starting to find those spaces in the right areas when the wing-backs of Millwall vacate.
Torp finds O'Hare, back for Casey Palmer. The shot is deflected over the bar by Wes Harding's header. Great defending from Harding, because the layback for Palmer around 12 yards is superb. He got plenty of power behind the shot, but Harding flicked it over. Corner Coventry.
Brilliant defending, but that's the difference between the first shot with Sakamoto, where you look at that from Casey Palmer, he hits it with such conviction, and it's definitely going in the back of the net for not for Wes Harding.
So another corner for Coventry, their third of the half at the north stand end to our left. Victor Torp with a right-footed in-swinger to come. Only O'Hare is in the 6-yard box for Coventry. It's gone deep to the far post. Sarkic couldn't get the punch clear, but there was nobody on the end of it in the sky blue shirt. Fleming heads it out the box. De Silva retrieves it on the far right-hand side for Coventry City. Now Sakamoto through the legs of Fleming, but then back comes Honeyman with some great tenacious defending to win the ball back for Millwall. It's out of play, and Millwall have been awarded a throw in their left-back position. 1-0 to Millwall it stays. We've got just over 8 minutes to half-time on TalkSport 2.
I think Honeyman's been excellent today. He's been absolutely everywhere. His heat map, I think, would be incredible, because when Millwall have pressed high and not let Coventry out, he's been that one backing up, the back of the midfield, and then in that instance, he's coming back and helping his defensive line out. He's been so close to all the Coventry players that he's been around to make sure he's putting the pressure on. He's been excellent.
Former Sunderland and Hull City midfielder George Honeyman got a couple of assists this season, hasn't scored, and you can see why he's had a couple of assists to his name. The ball in particular to set Danny McNamara away for a chance that just went begging for Millwall was a particularly good example. Coventry in possession on halfway with Binks in the centre circle. To his right is Latibeaudiere. Now Torp picks it up and slides it down the right-hand side for O'Hare. Sakamoto went to ground under pressure from Denore, but the referee says play on. Coventry still in possession. Sakamoto just gets a toe in ahead of Denore, and the ball hits the corner flag on the far side and goes out for a Millwall throw right by that corner flag.
I think Coventry are starting to now, just the momentum swinging in their way a little bit, looking at the big scoreboard now. We're ticking into 39th minute, but they probably don't want half time to come, really. They're just starting to have more possession of the ball, more meaningful opportunities, and half time will almost come at the wrong time for them. It's
about 63% possession for Coventry at the minute. It was more like 53 a few minutes ago. They've been ramping it up a little bit, but Millwall still lead. Sakamoto gets no change at all out of Joe Bryan as the ball slid down the right-hand side, but Sakamoto's made a run for the throw, taken quickly, and he slides it into the box, but Honeyman is there again to step in front of Hadji Wright and win it back for Millwall. Ball's out of play. Be a throw to Coventry on the far side of the field, taken by Van Ewijk. Eccles knocks it back to Latibeaudiere. It's about 3 George Honeymans out there. Casey Palmer for Coventry, back into the centre circle for Eccles. Gets his head up, he's got options left and right, plays a square ball left for Palmer, once again, who's quite deep in this build-up for Coventry. Now O'Hare knows he's got Harding and Tanganga behind him, and Tanganga slid in really well on Callum O'Hare and got the ball clear. They're trying not to give Callum O'Hare any space at all. That's why he's dropping deeper, because that's the only place he really gets the ball and can turn and look at what's in front of him.
And what's impressed me with Millwall is the fact that it's not just a man-to-man. It's, for example, Tanganga's following him now, but then George Honeyman's obviously been very close to him as well, and it's just interesting how the communication, they're passing O'Hare on very well.
Sakamoto, right-hand side for Coventry, has support from Van Ewijk, finds Callum O'Hare, right-hand corner of the box, tries to exchange passes with Sakamoto. Tangle of legs over on that far side. Millwall eventually can't keep it in play. Coventry throw. 5 minutes to the break. Coventry desperate for an equaliser before they go in at half time. Here's Victor Torp, right hand corner of the area, plays a little 1-2 with O'Hare, doesn't come off for him though, just cleared away by Joe Bryan. Millwall are getting the foot in at the important point most of the time. Back with Latibeaudiere on halfway. Square ball for Josh Eccles, who looks up and sends it out to this near side, the Coventry left, and De Silva. Palmer Finds De Silva again, who's come in field for a moment. Slides it into Haji Wright, who tried to take it on his right and move in field, but he was offside anyway, the American. So Millwall get themselves a free kick. What's Mark Robins thinking right now, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk? He's
thinking,
annoyed?
why is Haji Wright offside for the second time? I think will be one of the first ones. But I think he'll be disappointed with the start. I mean, there's two sides to it. I think the fact that they didn't score early on with that opportunity with Sakamoto and Haji Wright, they'll be disappointed. And then the fact that they let Millwall overrun them. I think they'll be happy with the fact that on the pitch they've adapted, they've started to figure it out. But obviously going in potentially 1-0 down is something that he won't be happy with, and I think he'll want to see more from his forward line, to be honest.
Well, Eccles went down midway point of his own half. Coventry fans were howling for a free kick. He's just on his elbows and knees, planted face down to the turf. He's holding his right calf as he tries to get to his feet. Just obviously got a whack, and he's showing the referee where he was caught. But the referee's not interested. He's going to start with an uncontested drop ball. I do miss the contested drop balls.
It's that Wayne Rooney one that always springs to mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was a Courtney Sweetman-Kirk drop ball like? Did you get involved with that sort of thing?
I did every so often if needed. Not scared to do that.
Oh, I can imagine you were never scared. Do anything. I wouldn't want to get in a drop ball situation with you. I think I'd be showing the referee my battle scars the way Josh Eccles just was. Coventry in possession, but 3 minutes only of normal time left in this first half. Millwall still lead by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2. Your home of the EFL. Torp on halfway. Tries to play the ball through to right. In slid Wes Harding. Good clearance again from the Millwall number 45, and then Essa, the goal scorer, tried to fire it downfield into Obafemi. Chested down there by Eccles. Palmer. McNamara out of position, and Palmer was brought down by Tanganga. Free kick to Coventry City. They want to get on with it, but Tanganga is of course doing that clever professional thing of holding onto the ball whilst he's talking to the referee to annoy Jay De Silva. Here is Palmer receiving the free kick, almost slipped, and that allowed Millwall time to intercept and get the ball clear, but it's only as far as Louis Binks on halfway for Coventry City. Left to Josh Eccles. Palmer will knock it back to Louis Binks, who's on loan from Bologna, played in Major League Soccer for Montreal a couple of years ago. Eccles finds Palmer back for Binks once again, looking for an option. Haji Wright is making runs along that three-man back line for Millwall, but they're not releasing him when he feels he's got that little bit of space. Lovely turn on the halfway line, tight to the touchline from Sakamoto, and then Van Awijk releases Callum O'Hare. Haji calling for a cross in the box. In it comes from O'Hare. Haji Wright gets his head to it, and Sarkic can palm it down. It wasn't going in, it was to the right of his right hand post, and he just palmed it down and make sure he didn't have to take a goal kick and he could clear it from hands. 1-0 to Millwall.
It's better though when they're getting numbers up Coventry, because O'Hare's gone down the right hand side. There was Haji Wright that obviously contested the ball. There's Casey Palmer behind him, and then Jay De Silva backing up the back of the box, which they've not really done so far in this game.
Sarkic's goal kick headed back towards halfway by Latibugia, but drops for Honeyman, who again looks instantly for where Danny McNamara is. McNamara right hand side suddenly has two Coventry players closing him down, so Millwall work it back towards the halfway line. Honeyman again chips it down the right hand side looking for Romain Esse. The youngster can't control it. Throw in to Coventry. We're about to find out how much minimum stoppage time we'll have at the end of this first half on TalkSport 2. Coventry fans, stick with us at the break. You'll hear more from your manager Mark Robins speaking to us ahead of this weekend. 7 years almost in charge. Handball from Jake Cooper on halfway, and the ball wasn't stationary as Victor Torp tried to release Palmer down the left hand side. And Millwall now have everybody behind the ball as Coventry tried to play a quick free kick. Fourth official Lee Doughty about to hold up the board just down beneath. It's just 1 minute of minimum stoppage time that we're moving into now on TalkSport 2. Here's Josh Eccles for the Sky Blues, just over the halfway line, to the left of centre. Plays the ball further infield for Torp. Swings it out to the inside right channel for Van Ewijk. Now Sakamoto on the wing, level with the edge of the area. Cuts in field, chips the ball in on his left. Good header clear by Jake Cooper for Millwall. Latibogier gets there ahead of Obafemi, and then Binks lofts it down the left-hand side, asking Palmer to give chase. Will he keep it in play? He hooks it back. He's kept it in play as well, but gave it straight to Honeyman, who was at the right-hand corner of his own box. Millwall try and get it clear. Casper Denore brings it down very neatly on his chest and spreads it right to Honeyman. Esse will hit the ball, well, you heard it, clunk off his right boot over halfway, and it'll bounce all the way through to Brad Collins. Referee's having a look at his watch. One or two around us making their way to the concourses, and the referee blows the half-time whistle, and Coventry City's bid to get back into the Championship top 6 has hit the buffers a little bit, as Millwall have come here and taken the lead in their bid to get away from trouble at the bottom of the table. Romain Esse, their young 18-year-old, slamming the ball home on 12 minutes after good work down the left-hand side by Zion Fleming. It was an emphatic finish from Esse. Coventry had great chances to take the lead themselves, notably a shot from Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, blocked out by Matthias Sarkic, straight to the American Hadji Wright, their top scorer, but somehow he contrived to hit the post not once but twice as he tried to turn the ball into the back of the net. Palmer's had a shot turned over the crossbar by the head of Wes Harding. That looked destined for the back of the net, but Millwall equally could have been 2-0 up. Michael Obafemi bringing a good save out of Brad Collins away to our right hand side, but the Millwall fans going away for their pint of pint at half time. By far the happier Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, 100%, and I think they've won that battle in the wide areas. Millwall, Jay De Silva, Van Ewijk, they've started to get into the game now, but I think they were so worried because they were overrunning in midfield that they didn't want to get high. They didn't want to vacate that area because, of how Millwall got higher in the wide areas, and then especially that front three have then almost locked onto the defensive four. So it was a really good showing, and Honeyman in the middle has been absolutely fantastic. Callum O'Hare really for most of the game hasn't had a sniff, and the only time he has is when he's pulled out to wide areas to try and find some space. So they've done a great job between, I think, Tanganga and the midfielders Honeyman, Denore to try and mark him out the game. And
the finish from Esse was rifled home.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and what I like about it is he doesn't hesitate. He just takes it quickly, hits it hard and true. It's a fantastic finish, and it started with a good area in terms of down that left-hand side again in the wide areas, Millwall, and some good work from Fleming, so they'd be very proud of their performance. Yes, Coventry came back into the game sort of in the latter stage of that second half, but they defended really well, went back into that 5 and was like, come on then, break us down, and Coventry didn't really have an answer for it.
An intriguing second half to come then here on your home of the EFL TalkSport 2. Myself, Ian Danter, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk back shortly. You'll hear from Mark Robbins at half-time and full second half commentary to come. But at the break, it is Coventry City 0, Millwall 1.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
Come on, Katerina. You can handle this heat. One event at a time. Throw together a decent ragu. Jump straight onto the Malaysian curry. Bring it home with the chili. Yeah, I'll bust this batch cook.
Perform better on Sundays. Get half-price electricity, 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. with Peak Save from British Gas. Proud partners of Team GB and Paralympics GB. Ends 25th of February. T's and C's apply. Smart meter required.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Fancy a Big Mac for the big match? Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
Grassroots football has a problem. Abuse is increasing.
You know the rules. Just calm down.
Hate is growing.
Shouldn't play football.
Ugly behaviour is ruining our beautiful game.
Stupid.
The FA are targeting discriminatory abuse in all its forms. Points can be deducted. Players will be removed from play. Abuse will be punished. There's no space for hate or no space for you. Enough is enough.
6 nations and 6 amazing chances to win an unforgettable adventure for you and 5 mates in a 6 Nations European host city of your choice. To take part, enter online now at greenking.co.uk/rugby. 6 nations, 6 mates and 6 international rugby getaways worth £3,000. Scrum down and sign up to win at greenking.co.uk/rugby and watch all the 6 Nations action live at your local Green King pub. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. drinkaware.co.uk.
At B&Q and TradePoint, get 3 for 2 on selected coloured emulsion and paint mixing. With brands like Dulux and Valspar, whatever the surface or space, we've got you covered for less. Shop in-store or online. You can do it. Exclusions apply. The value of every third item per single transaction in descending price order deducted ends 26th of February. See DIY.com.
Going to the shops isn't everyone's bag. Like Toby here, he'd rather nurture his plants and get everything he needs to make dinner delivered by Tesco Whoosh, store to door from as little as 20 minutes.
Keep reaching for the sun, Arthur. You're growing so fast, little one. Blooming lovely, aren't you?
Carry on, Toby. Tesco Whoosh. Every little helps. Fees apply. Delivery times 20 to 60 minutes. Selected areas. Whoosh specific pricing. See tesco.com/whoosh.
Let me count the ways I love thee. I love thy bacon, the taste so crisp. Your tomato so juicy, perfect. Oh, yes. Your smoky sauce, oh, I adore. But here, just 5 weeks. Stay, I want more. I love you, big tasty, big love. Until the 12th of March from 11 a.m. Participating restaurants only, subject to availability.
Early breakfast, weekday mornings from 5 on Talk Sport with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. From the goal line to the golf course, the canvas to the crease. We've got all the biggest sports stories covered. Wake up to expert debate, analysis and opinion that's guaranteed to set you up for the day. Early breakfast, weekday mornings from 5 on Talk Sport with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
Points up for grabs for very different reasons here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Millwall couldn't get the ball clear. Now Van Eyck's away, right-hand side of the box, pulls it back. Sakamoto! Great save, Sarkic! And Haji Wright hits the post twice on the follow-up, and somehow it stays out. And Sarkic dives on the ball gratefully. Sakamoto's initial shot was well saved. It came straight out to the American Haji Wright. 2 bites of the cherry, both off the upright. 0-0 it stays.
Yeah, I think to be honest, Dan, both of them have got a score.
Cooper stayed forward and he's found the ball to Casper Denori. He's gone into the box. Sion Fleming in there too, and it's just driven in for a goal. Romain Esse has given Millwall the lead, suddenly let fly with his left boot.
It's a wonderful striking. Probably would say a little bit against the run of play, but I think Millwall were growing into this game.
Sensational ball from Honeyman. McNamara pulls it back. Obafemi with a drive, and it's kept out, shovelled away by Brad Collins. That would have been a quite superb counter-attacking goal from Millwall.
Just those little, 1% that we normally see from Coventry, especially in the final third, that they move it so quickly. It's just not quite there at the moment.
Torp runs up to the ball, right-footed, clatters it goalwards, tipped over by Sarkic. Got quickly across to his right and tipped it over the bar. And the referee blows the half-time whistle, and Coventry City's bid to get back into the Championship top 6 has hit the buffers a little bit. It is Coventry City 0, Millwall 1. So that's the situation at half-time here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Live on TalkSport 2. Ian Danter and Courtney Sweetman-Cook with you. Full second half commentary to come on Coventry against Millwall. But let's talk a bit more about Coventry and specifically their manager. Already the longest serving boss in the Championship by a distance. Sky Blues manager Mark Robins is approaching 7 years in charge of the club. Now, speaking exclusively to TalkSport's Ian Abrahams on Friday, he admitted the battle for promotion to the Premier League has never been tougher.
All you can do at any football club is try and improve the situation. Doug King's come in and he's changed things. He's changed things immeasurably, really. You look at the training facility we're studying at the moment, things are still moving forwards with that. I'm sure you've seen. We've got a really talented bunch of players here, and like I say, hopefully we can add to that as we go and become stronger and stronger in depth. But it all takes money. It all takes that finance, and Doug's backing that, and we just want to try and move it forward to where he wants it to be, where we all want it to be. I think really his directive has been three out of 5 seasons in the playoffs, and one of those we may get up. It's difficult to get there. There's no doubt in that. This season is a particularly difficult division, and everybody's strengthening all the time. It's almost a basket case of a league because everybody's trying to do the same thing. We're trying to get out, barring probably 3 teams, maybe 2 teams. We're all trying to do the same thing. And I think the new teams that have come in have acquitted themselves pretty well. Certainly Plymouth have done fantastically well. Ipswich have been incredible. And Sheffield Wednesday are a decent team. They're down at the bottom end of the division, but they've got some really good players in there, athletic players. So the league improves all the time. Teams that have come down have been stronger than not, and it makes for a difficult side. So the league changes, 6 teams each season, 3 of which have got parachute payments all the time. Unless 3 go up, it adds to that for a number of years, which becomes more and more difficult. So to operate at the top end of the league is an ambition, and hopefully we can keep going.
Mark Robbins there chatting with TalkSport's Ian Abrahams towards the end of last week about the prospects for Coventry City and whether promotion is a realistic aim. They're certainly trying to get in amongst it this afternoon, but they trail to Millwall here at half-time, live on TalkSport 2. Myself, Ian Danter, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk with you. Full second half commentary to come. Just generally on the Championship, Courtney, when you look at the results yesterday, Ipswich West Brom was a fantastic encounter. We had it live on TalkSport 2, and Sean Hutchinson with a last gasp equaliser for Ipswich to save them a point. And then around them, Leeds made light work of Rotherham. Southampton came from 2-0 down to wallop Huddersfield to keep that unbeaten run going. What caught your eye most yesterday in the Championship at that sort of top end?
At the top end, I do think I've been watching Southampton. The run that they're going on, the unbeaten run, is fantastic. And when they were sitting 3rd or 4th, I think it was, I said I think they're the ones that will really march on. I think they'll get the automatic, which looks to be the case at the moment. And I think when you look at the job that's been done there by Russell Martin, and got a lot of criticism at the start of the season, but had a very clear philosophy about what he wanted and what he wanted to achieve, that club and the brand of football that they wanted to play. So the fact that they're doing so well doing that, I think you've got to give him a lot of credit. But I think as Mark Robbins said there, the Championship, it's an incredible league. You never really know what you're going to get. I think the quality of the teams that have come down has made it extremely difficult to get out of, and add in the fact that Ipswich are very much the outliers, and it's a league that everyone's trying to do the same thing, and they're all on very different footings as well in terms of the finances. So look, it's a great league. I don't know which way the playoffs are going to go, but I still stand by the fact that Leicester and Southampton will be the teams that go up automatically.
Sunderland fans are breathing a little easier, seem to be a little happier. They weren't sure about Michael Beale at all, clearly, when he came in, and some of the things he said seemed to rub some of the Sunderland faithful up the wrong way. But a convincing win at the Stadium of Light against Stoke yesterday sees them back in 6th at the moment, with Coventry playing just now. And you've got 7 points between Sunderland in 6th and Cardiff down in 14th. So I think you would take it down that far. Plymouth and Millwall here, 36 points if Millwall hang on. That's probably too much ground to make up, you would say.
Yeah.
But anywhere from Cardiff up for potential for those last 2 playoff spots, because it seems to be 2 spots up for grabs.
Yeah, and I think it was funny enough, I was having this conversation the other day, and I exactly agree with you. Cardiff, I think any more than that's just a little bit too far away with the points. But I think going into now, this is where I think the Championship every season gets always very interesting. You'll get teams that start putting a bit of a run together, 3 or 4 games, and next thing you know, as you say, you could potentially be in 12th and be in 6th 2 weeks later. So that's why we love it. We love the drama, but I do think sort of there's, as you said, I probably think now it's 2 spots up for grabs. So it in a way maybe makes it more exciting, more interesting, because there's almost less places up for grabs. So the teams have really got to go for it sort of, March, that's the time it really starts to hot up.
And of course, TalkSport 2, your home with the EFL, will bring you all the big games right the way through to the end of the season, and of course all the playoff matches from Championship, League 1 and League 2, all the games that will decide who goes into the Premier League and indeed who drops out of the Championship and into League 1. Big performance from QPR yesterday to get a point against Norwich to keep a mini revival going under Marti Cifuentes. Back here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, both sets of players are out. No changes made at the break from either Mark Robins or Joe Edwards, so I'll run you through the lineups in just a second. Get the second half underway with Coventry in their sky blue home strip, kicking towards the south stand to our right in the second half. We're 20 rows back in the west stand here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Millwall in their first choice colours of the navy blue and white shorts. They're kicking towards the north stand away to our right. It's Collins in goal for Coventry, Van Ewijk, Latibeaudiere, Binks and De Silva at the back, Torp, Eccles, Sakamoto, O'Hare, Palmer and Wright. As for Millwall, as we wait for kick-off, Sarkic in goal, Tanganga, Harding and Cooper, McNamara and Bryan as wing-backs, Denore and Honeyman in midfield, Fleming and Esse either side of Obafemi in attack. And it's Romain Esse's goal that separates the sides, and Callum O'Hare restarts the match here on TalkSport 2 at the Coventry Building Society Arena. And Binks immediately looks for Jay De Silva on the left-hand side, and as with the first half, as soon as Jay De Silva gets anywhere near picking up possession, suddenly Danny McNamara springs from nowhere, and it's given away by Coventry at the back. Obafemi goes down at the edge of the area, and the referee says no foul. He went down too cheaply for the referee's liking, and Coventry bring the ball away, but Van Ewijk can't slide it into the path of Sakamoto. So Joe Bryan comes away with the ball. But that was a bit lax in defence for Coventry City in these early stages of the second half, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, you saw it coming a mile off, Dan. I'm not sure why Collins plays that ball in there, or if he's got to do it, he's got to play it to the back foot with tempo so you can turn on the ball. But just playing into Millwall's hands, really. You know they're going to high press, and I'm not saying it has to be long ball, but you can pass the first line of the press, and Collins was poor decision there.
Van Ewijk finds Callum O'Hare, right-hand side. Sakamoto in support, drives for the byline, feints to cross, checks back onto his left and dumps Bryan on the seat of his pants. Plays the ball to the far post, and it's flicked away by Harding. Actually, it didn't come off Harding at all. It's been given as a goal kick to Millwall. It wasn't really anywhere near anybody in the sky blue shirt. That ball into the box from Sakamoto. Goal kick, 1-0 Millwall.
And I think they'll want more from Sakamoto in the second half. Coventry fans and Robins, he's such a quality player and such a technical player, but for me just didn't do enough in the first half. The big opportunity obviously with the shot on goal, but aside from that I think he struggled to get himself into the game and cause any problems.
Throw into Coventry, and Van Ewijk works it back to Binks, midway point of his own half, out to the left, and De Silva has to go backwards to square to Binks once again. Latibeaudiere gets his head up, slides it out to Sakamoto on the halfway line, but a poor touch from him allows Bryan to win it back. Sakamoto looking to dispossess Fleming, comes away with the ball. Sakamoto plays it infield, but it's nowhere near Callum O'Hare. He'll get it via a deflection, and Sakamoto stayed down after an off-the-ball incident with Joe Bryan. Now he's picking himself up. Latibeaudiere has it for Coventry just inside his own half. Looks to play it down the central channel for Hadji Wright, but overhits the pass. Wright acknowledges the intention of Joel Latibeaudiere, but it bounces twice and through to Sarkic. 1-0 Millwall. A couple of minutes gone in the second half.
It's not a bad idea though, because Cooper, he gambles, so his high is not in line with Harding at all, so it's definitely the right idea, just the execution on the ball wasn't good enough.
Eccles tries to turn away from Honeyman on halfway. Millwall won it back. Obafemi guides it down for Fleming, who works it back into his own half for Bryan, plays it through the legs of Hadji Wright, and then Denore spots a bit of space for Tanganga to pile forward for Millwall. Out to the right hand side, McNamara does well to keep it in place, sprints infield, De Silva going with him, knocks it back to Honeyman in the centre of the Coventry half. To his left is Bryan, back for Honeyman once again. Honeyman dispossessed by Hadji Wright, illegally so though, says the referee. Millwall have a free kick just ahead of the centre circle.
Soft, really soft dance. I think Haji Wright does well. He's come back, he's helping his team. Just gets his body in the way. I really don't think that's a foul.
Don't forget the Sunday session getting underway on TalkSport right now. Regular updates on West Ham against Arsenal, and then Aston Villa against Manchester United. Hugh Croft and Perry Groves are your team on TalkSport this afternoon here on TalkSport 2. We are concentrating on matters here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. 4 minutes gone in the second half. Millwall free kick. They lead by a goal to nil. It's clipped into the box, headed out as far as Casper Denori, then Obafemi on the half volley as the ball dropped for him just inside the area. Couldn't keep it down, skied it over the bar. Goal kick to Coventry.
It's just a snapshot, but do well Millwall in the second phase of that set piece and does the right thing. Obafemi's similar to Esse earlier in terms of trying to hit it early, but just doesn't get the right connection.
A couple of ex-Swans in direct confrontation there, Latibergier and Obafemi. Latibergier came out of it in the nick of time, and it's brought over halfway by Victor Torp. Out to the Coventry left, and De Silva plays the ball in field. O'Hare was caught from behind, but no foul, says the referee. In fairness to O'Hare, he's hopped straight back to his feet. The ball's clipped up to halfway, and Obafemi, under pressure from Binks, claims he's being held. Looks like he was, but no foul, says the referee. Coventry coming forward. Sakamoto in the area, right-hand side. Checks onto his left, gets the shot away, and Sarkic makes the save, and then the offside flag goes up against Haji Wright, trying to follow up. And Sakamoto has another effort denied by Matthias Sarkic, this time early in the second half. 1-0 Millwall.
I tell you what, if that had gone in, I think the Millwall players and manager alike would have been absolutely livid, because for me that's a blatant foul on Obafemi there. His arm, you can see, is being pulled back by Binks, I think it was. And just we always talk about refereeing and we talk about the consistency, and I just think now that's starting to change a little bit in this second half. There's a lack of consistency with the decisions that are being made.
Sarkic to take the free kick for that offside. Clips it up to the halfway line. Fleming and Van Ewijk in direct opposition, and Bryan comes away for the ball for Millwall. Whacks it against Eccles and wins a corner for Millwall away on this left-hand side. It's their second corner of the game, Millwall.
Brilliant from Zion Fleming though, holding that ball up, making sure he's strong, getting his body in between the ball and the defender, and then the little flick round the corner as well for Bryan was really nice.
And George Honeyman has gone to collect a ball off one of the cones and then realises that the ball's already been placed next to the quadrant. Coventry fans saying that's a bit of time wasting, deliberately so from Honeyman. But it's going to be a right-footed in-swinger at the northwest corner of the Coventry Building Society Arena, just down to our left. Honeyman, right-footed, clips the ball deep to the far post, goes beyond everybody, one bounce, and over the dead ball line. I think Zion Fleming was the intended target, but Honeyman holds his arms out in disbelief that he got that wrong. Goal kick to Coventry. Coventry 0, Millwall 1 on TalkSport 2.
It was a big sweeping run, wasn't it, by Fleming. Started at the front and then trying to sweep all the way round to the back, but don't think he set off in time. But I think it's a good area where the ball landed if someone can head that back across.
Collins with the goal kick downfield for Coventry, headed back towards halfway by Tanganga. O'Hare cushions a header down for De Silva. O'Hare has it back just over the halfway line, hugging that far left-hand touchline. Torp works it infield to Eccles, has to guard it back into his own half for Binks, keeps it away from Esse, and then Torp, in trying to find Callum O'Hare, steered the ball straight out of play for a Millwall throw. There's quite a few substitutes been warming up down beneath us. I wonder whether Mark Robbins is tempted to make a change. Matt Godden is one of those getting changed. We'll wait and see. We've played 7 minutes of the second period. Coventry City 0, Millwall 1 if you're just tuning into EFL Championship Live here on TalkSport 2. Ball's bouncing towards the Coventry penalty area. Obafemi giving chase. Van Ewijk gets there first. Latibergier neatly chips it around Obafemi to buy himself some space. Rolls it down the left-hand side for Torp. And then Torp has the ball hit against him by McNamara. Assistant on that far side has given a throw to Millwall. You can hear what the locals think about that.
Yeah, they're not overly impressed. They can see better over that side than us, but I just think as well there's just a big amount of frustration from what they've seen from their side already. They've had some good opportunities that they've not been clinical enough with, but on balance Millwall have really taken this game to Coventry.
Long throw to come then from Japhet Tanganga for Millwall. Level with the edge of the Coventry penalty area. Slings it into the near post. Strong header clear by Binks. O'Hare is herring after it but won't get there. It's back instead at the back for Millwall. Swung into the box, but there were at least two players who couldn't make a run for it in case they were caught offside. And Collins bowls the ball out overarm, bounces over the leg of Van Ewijk and over the head of Sakamoto, and Millwall have a throw.
That sums up, I think, Coventry today so far, trying to do the right things, but the quality on the ball just hasn't been good enough all over the pitch.
Throw into Millwall. Casper Denore works it back to Wes Harding. Tanganga just to his right, hits the ball against Casey Palmer. Honeyman will head it towards halfway, but it's back in Coventry possession with Victor Torp. Torp looks for O'Hare, inside left position, works it in field to Casey Palmer. Quick feet from Palmer, but then Harding steps in and toe pokes the ball clear. Esse tries to turn, but he's dispossessed by De Silva. Coventry just trying to hem Millwall in here in their own defensive third. Eccles just over the halfway line, finds Callum O'Hare out to the Coventry left and Jay De Silva. Torp's made a run into the box. De Silva trying to find him, is going to deflect behind for a corner, is it? It is. First corner of the second half to Coventry City at the South Stand end, but they trail Millwall by 1-0 here. Torp is going to take it in that southeast corner. Right-footed in-swinger to come, pack 6-yard box. Saw very sparsely populated 6-yard boxes for corners in the first half, but there's loads in there surrounding Matija Sarkic in both sky blue and navy blue. Torp sends in the corner under the crossbar, headed up and out by Zion Fleming right in front of his goalkeeper. Denore heads it further clear, but Torp will get to the loose ball first. Casey Palmer just ahead of the centre circle, rides to the challenge of Denore. Now it's taken by Josh Eccles. Eccles slides it down the left hand side. Torp for the first time, cross might drop for Casey Palmer, cleared away by Denore under pressure, goes out for a throw right hand side for Coventry, and they're preparing a double change here. Coventry, Bobby Thomas and Ellis Sims will be on shortly. They're both stripped and ready. Ball's out for a throw. Is this when they decide to make the change? Indeed it is, and the players coming off. Josh Eccles is making way for Bobby Thomas, so they're going to have 3 centre halves out there, and Casey Palmer is coming off for Ellis Sims. I wonder whether they're going to go like for like against Millwall with their system, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
I would imagine so, but I think Casey Palmer will feel disappointed with that, to be honest, because I think he's probably been one of the better players for Coventry in this game, but maybe it is due to that formation and feeling that is the best way to try and match Millwall up.
So Bobby Thomas, Ellis Sims on, Josh Eccles, Casey Palmer off. Coventry have just won a corner as Van Ewijk just hit the ball against Casper Denore on this right hand side. And it will be Victor Torp coming across to the right-hand side to strike the corner in for Coventry this time. So a bit more height in the box now, courtesy of Bobby Thomas in there for Coventry City. 1-0 to Millwall. Just over 10 minutes gone in the second half. Torp floats the ball to the far post. Sims went up for it, but Sarkic got something on it with his right glove and got it half clear. O'Hare picks up the loose ball for Coventry out on the left-hand side. Jay De Silva quite deep, works it out to the far left-hand side. Binks is out there, puts in a ball with his left, headed out by Jake Cooper for Millwall. Straight back to Binks. He nods it back to the corner of the area, but that was straight down George Honeyman's throat, and now Obafemi's giving chase. Van Ewijk gets in front of him and rolls it back to his goalkeeper, Brad Collins. Collins will look for Binks. Now up to the halfway line. O'Hare and De Silva combined. Torp, little wedge, pitching wedge down the left-hand side of the box, but it's overhit in the end. I think it was intended for O'Hare, but Sarkic comes out to collect. Is it a back three? I'm not sure that it yeah, it is. Latibeaudiere right, Thomas middle, Binks left for Coventry. Sakamoto now playing as a wing-back, as is De Silva. Back it goes to Brad Collins. Passes out to the centre of his own half. Torp has space to turn. Now Denore is closing down the space. De Silva works it infield to Latibeaudiere. Works it out to this near side via a deflection to Van Ewijk. Sakamoto calling for it on this near touchline. Midway point of the Millwall half. Skips in field, the Japanese. Finds Latibeaudiere. Getting towards the edge of the area. Almost thought about shooting there, I think. Joel Latibeaudiere. Instead it's De Silva and Wright combining. Out on the left-hand side for Coventry. Latibeaudiere wants it back in the centre of the half. Into the feet of O'Hare. Little flick round the corner. Trying to get Torp in behind, but Honeyman intercepts. And then Zion Fleming plays a long ball up to halfway. Can't find Obafemi. Thomas finds O'Hare. Tries to cushion a header down for Van Ewijk. But Millwall have won it back. And then Fleming hits the ball against Van Ewijk, having lost control of the ball. It's quite clever from Zion Fleming to win a throw right in front of his manager. 59 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. It's Coventry 0, Millwall 1.
It's interesting this because you know that Coventry have got to flood bodies forward. They've tweaked it, but the balance is so off. And I think if Millwall can win the ball back quickly on transition and find a navy blue shirt, Coventry are going to be in all sorts of trouble.
Super Bowl 58 tonight on TalkSport from 10:30. Once we're done here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, you can hear all of our Road to the Super Bowl special shows that we brought you across the week here on TalkSport 2 from 2 p.m. through to 6 p.m. with Will Gavin and our team out in Las Vegas. Nat Coombs will be your presenter on TalkSport tonight from 10:30 for the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. Will Gavin and Jeff Reinbold will be your commentary team inside the Allegiant Stadium. And they'll be on Taylor Swift watch, I'm sure. Here's Latibeaudiere for Coventry City, trailing by a goal to nil. Sun trying to break through here at the Coventry Building Society Arena for the first time this afternoon. Binks picks up possession for the Sky Blues just ahead of the halfway line. Victor Torp now. Out to the left wing and Jay De Silva. O'Hare out there with him. Gives it back to the number 3, Jay De Silva. Looking to step away from Tanganga. Good quick feet. Now Callum O'Hare, left-hand corner of the box. Rolls it into Hadji Wright. Trying to make space for a shot. Blocked. Torp with a right-footed effort wide, and it's deflected wide for a corner kick to Coventry City. They're coming close again to try and get back on terms.
Brilliant pacey ball into Hadji Wright, but he can't quite fashion half a yard to get the shot off. Torp does the right thing there. He knows that he's got to try and bend it round the defenders into the back of the net, but the deflection takes it out for the corner in the end.
It's going to be Tom Bradshaw and Duncan Watmore on in a moment for Millwall for a double attacking change. Meantime, Torp with the corner for Coventry. Again, it's deep to the far post. Again, Sarkic comes and he claims in the end. I thought he'd lost control for a moment as he fell from the sky, but he managed to keep both gloves on the ball. And it remains Coventry 0, Millwall 1. And when the ball next goes out of play, Joe Edwards is making a double change for the visitors.
Does well in the end, Sarkic there, doesn't he? But there's been 2 opportunities there from the corner where he's come a very long way, and you feel if he doesn't get one, it's going to be an open goal for Coventry to try and put the ball in the net.
Ball's out of play, so here comes that double change for Millwall. So Tom Bradshaw, 4 goals this season in the Championship, and Duncan Watmore, who scored 1 against Hull in October. And Esse, the goal scorer, is coming off. More good experience for him and Obafemi, so it's fairly obvious changes, isn't it, Courtney? Bradshaw and Watmore into those places that Esse and Obafemi were already occupying.
Yeah, and what I will say about Joe Edwards today and Millwall is they've been brave, really brave with how they've set up, how they've got high. They've got the wing back high, they've got bodies there, and with these substitutions they could quite easily, pack up the midfielders or bring another defender on and drop one of the forward players back, but they're not. They're going for it, and I've got to give Joe Edwards a lot of credit for that.
Throw for Coventry in their right back position. 62 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Coventry 0, Millwall 1. Van Ewijk gets the ball back from O'Hare, elects to roll the ball back to Binks. Thomas just to his right, the right-hand corner of the area, lofts it up to halfway, chested down by Bryan. Denori flicks it on, but it won't find Watmore. Torp, good strength from him, and O'Hare brings the ball away and slides in Hadji Wright into the area left-hand side for Coventry. Checking onto his right, but Hadji Wright can't get the shot away. It's cleared away by Millwall, only as far as Thomas, up to O'Hare with his back to goal 25 yards out. Now Latibeaudiere finds Van Eyvite. Latibeaudiere again. Up to O'Hare, turns it round the corner for Ellis Sims. It won't hold for Ellis Sims, and then away come Millwall, and a foul on Watmore gives the London Lions a free kick inside their own half, and they still lead by a goal to nil.
That is excellent centre forward play there by Watmore. They know that they've been under pressure. He gets the ball, he could quite easily just try and punt it upfield, but he draws the foul and just gives Millwall a few precious seconds to calm down. But in there for Coventry, I think Haji Wright again, and it's not just him, but the wrong decisions have been made for a lot of this game for Coventry. He's either got to take the touch and shoot earlier, or if he's going to take as many touches as he did, he's got to try and find a teammate and just drive it across the box.
So Millwall's free kick to be taken by Sarkic, their goalkeeper. Right down the middle of the field, up to the edge of the area, bounces through to Brad Collins. And Collins being urged by home fans to get rid of the ball, and he threw it out, but straight onto the head of Zion Fleming. Now Bradshaw tries to give it back to Fleming as he moved in field. Clearance by Latibeaudiere will drop for Danny McNamara, and the Millwall right wing back guides it back to the tall, rangy Jake Cooper. Tried to thread it up to Bradshaw, but the ball went through Bradshaw's legs, and Collins looks for Jay Da Silva, almost sold him short with that pass, and Corny Sweetman-Kirk alongside with just screwing a face up at what almost happened to Jay Da Silva getting dispossessed by Watmore.
Yeah, and Collins in general today, unfortunately for him, I've got to say that his distribution has been really, really poor, and that's another example of it in terms of just about getting away with one.
Coventry in possession just inside the Millwall half. 1-0 Millwall lead with 25 minutes to go on TalkSport 2 here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Haji Wright, left-hand side. O'Hare flicks it in field for Victor Torp. Back into the area. Haji Wright spins, goes down under pressure. Penalty kick. Tanganga brought down Haji Wright as he spun inside the area to make room for a shot. Tanganga brought him down. It's a penalty kick to the Sky Blues.
Yeah, and I thought it was a penalty dance. And what Haji Wright does so well here is he uses his body. There was an incident in the first half where it's similar. The ball comes into him and Honeyman just nips in front of him, but this time he does really well. He gets his body across and makes sure he knows he's protecting the ball, because he knows if Tanganga comes through him like he did there, it's a penalty. It's good play from the centre forward.
Haji Wright has demanded the ball. Callum O'Hare's having a chat with him. I think he wants to take the penalty. Yeah, and he's walking away a bit disconsolate, Callum O'Hare, because Haji Wright, the top scorer, has decided this is mine, and he will take it for Coventry City. He's just doing a bit of gardening around the penalty spot before he takes the strike. Well, let's see whether this works out for Haji Wright. Stands at the edge of the penalty area to try and bring Coventry City level up against Sarkic. Slow run up to the ball, right-footed, sends Sarkic the wrong way, goes down the centre of the goal, and Haji Wright has equalised for Coventry City to set up a grandstand last quarter of this championship encounter. Coventry 1, Millwall 1.
Well, it's a good penalty dance, and look at the celebrations there. He's enjoying himself, trying to gee the crowd up. It's a long run up, takes his time, stutters on the way up, but then sends Sarkic the wrong way and is quite happy just to side foot it to the opposite side. And no doubt in my mind that was a penalty, and I think now it's going to be really interesting to see what Millwall do here. Do they try and settle for the draw and get bodies behind the ball, or do they go at Coventry again like they did in the first half?
I'm not sure that isn't Coventry's first penalty in the championship this season. Maybe that's why Callum O'Hare was looking a bit disconsolate that he didn't get the nod, because they just don't know who the penalty taker is. Anyway, 1-1, quarter of the game to go on TalkSport 2. They made that double change, Coventry. It's not necessarily the double change that's made the difference, but Haji Wright won the penalty and has scored the penalty. But Millwall have just won a free kick 20 yards inside the Coventry half of the field. Can the visitors come again? They've caused enough problems so far this afternoon for the Coventry back line. Joe Bryan standing over this free kick to the left of centre, just in front of our commentary position. Left-footed, clips the ball up to the edge of the box. It's flicked away by Thomas for Coventry, only as far as Watmore. Back for Honeyman. Honeyman hits it against Ellis Sims, who handled the ball. So it's a free kick to Millwall now on the right-hand side, the midway point of the Coventry half. And the Sun desperate to break through here in the Midlands, but not quite. 1-1.
It's interesting, that one, Dance. It is handball, but it's so close to Ellis Sims. I'm not really sure how we can get out of the way quickly enough when it's a couple of yards away from him.
If that had been in the box, would it have been a penalty?
Well, for some of the decisions I saw yesterday in the Luton Sheffield United game, then yes, definitely, but less said about that the better.
Well, we are in a VAR free zone, let's not forget, here in the EFL. Millwall's free kick, and it sent it just beyond the despairing dive of Jake Cooper. That was a lovely delivery from the right hand side, and Cooper was well placed right in front of goal, but the ball was just a yard or so ahead of him. 24,168 here in the Coventry Building Society Arena, and I'm told that Coventry already have had a penalty this season that Matt Godden took. Not sure that he scored it though. Here's Callum O'Hare as Coventry suddenly burst forward. Wright's in space inside the area. Hadji Wright! It's in! Went through Sarkic! What a turnaround at the Coventry Building Society Arena! Hadji Wright scores twice to get to double figures for the season, but Matthias Sarkic will be disappointed with that. O'Hare with a bursting run through the middle, fed it left hand side of the box. Hadji Wright took aim, went for the bottom corner, but Sarkic did not keep it out, and he looks despairingly at his defenders. He feels he's let them down. What a transformation in the atmosphere. Coventry going back to the top six as things stand. Coventry 2, Millwall 1.
Just as the sun comes out as well, Dance, it's like it was meant to happen, but no, I think the 6-1.5 does here in terms of the defence was terrible, quite frankly. Callum O'Hare has got the freedom of Coventry running through the middle of this pitch. You know, it's a good ball out wide. It's unselfish, by the way. You think he can go himself, he doesn't. Plays it to his left-hand side, and Hadji Wright, he doesn't catch this right at all. Excuse the pun, it wasn't meant to be one. And as you say, Sarkic, he's got to do better there at his near post. It's really poor from the goalkeeper.
Coventry 2, Millwall 1. 20 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Bobby Thomas clatters the ball against Bradshaw, and it lands in amongst the supporters just to our right in the West Stand. Now they're singing loud and proud all around us here. Millwall fans over to our right in the South Stand, standing silent. They had this game under control for long spells, but 2 goals in 3 minutes have seen Coventry in front. O'Hare just limping a little, holding his left calf after going in for a challenge. Play Up Sky Blues being sung around this arena as Sims wins the ball back. O'Hare clips the ball out to Hadji Wright, who's on a hat-trick now. He's on the left wing at the moment. O'Hare's still out there with him. Wright holding up Honeyman. Oh, lovely turn, drop of the shoulder. Works it back to Victor Torp. Torp inside the area, gets the shot away, deflects over the bar for another corner kick to Coventry City. So close to 3-1.
It's incredible how this game is flipped on its head within 5 minutes, but I think Hadji Wright now, it's Sims that's playing down the middle and Hadji Wright more so on the left, and I think that's just opened the game up a little bit. It's made it a lot better, I think, for Hadji Wright to be able to get on the ball and have more of an impact.
That was only just deflected over the bar by the thigh of Japhet Tanganga for Millwall. So a corner for Coventry in the southeast corner, to be taken once again by Victor Torp. And it comes to the near post, flicked on by Thomas, and it's wide. Goal kick to Millwall. Stays 2-1 on TalkSport 2. Sun finally breaking through here in the Midlands, and Millwall have 18 minutes to do something about this scoreline. Clip forward towards the halfway line. 2 Coventry players go for the same ball in Binks and Lati Bogier. The ball's gone out of play, and Coventry have been awarded a throw. It's all going the Sky Blues' way at the moment.
It is, and I think sometimes it's one of those football cliches, isn't it? But look, Coventry have been nowhere near their best today, but they're finding a way to score goals to get back into the game, and That's a very good habit to have. Does Mark Robbins wish they would have played better? Of course he does. Oh my God.
Sarkic going after a ball and he claims it in the end. It was high, looped into the box from the left-hand side. Sakamoto was trying to put him under pressure. Sarkic dropped it initially, but Sakamoto didn't know where the ball was. If he'd had any inkling where the ball was, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, then he would have had an empty net to aim at.
Well, like I said, didn't I? There's a couple of times he's come from the corners and looked suspect. That one's slightly different in open play, but I think he's probably still thinking about that shot from Haji Wright he should have saved as well, and he does look nervous.
Coventry 2, Millwall 1 on TalkSport 2. 17 minutes to go. McNamara works it back for Honeyman. Honeyman sends the cross into the box. Down goes Fleming. Bradshaw was in there too. Fleming looked at the referee saying I was fouled, but referee Kitching says nothing doing, and Coventry City get a goal kick. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me this afternoon. He's made those two changes, Joe Edwards, and refreshed the front line, and he'll be hoping that one of those two can actually have an effect on the game. Bradshaw and Watmore, they've not really got into the game quite yet, have they?
Yeah, and I think it's because not necessarily down to them, but don't know what it is, whether it's the momentum turning or the fitness of Brian and McNamara, or not necessarily the fitness, but it's such a hard job that they were doing, staying high, getting down them wing back areas, and I think because they've not been as high in this second half, that has allowed Coventry back into the game.
O'Hare lays the ball off to Van Eyck down this right hand side for Coventry, cuts infield up to the edge of the area. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto and O'Hare combine. O'Hare went down, he wants a free kick. Referee says no, play on. And Joe Bryan scrapping for possession with Sakamoto down by his own corner flag, and Sakamoto pushes Bryan over. Free kick to Millwall. Quarter of an hour to go on TalkSport 2 here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. You're listening to Coventry 2, Millwall 1 in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Long goal kick downfield, free kick downfield from Sarkic, but it just drifts out of play. It's happened a couple of times for Sarkic this afternoon, and Coventry get a throw just shy of the halfway line on this near side to us, the Coventry right. Van Eyck. O'Hare has come short. The throw-in may go a little longer. He's holding on to the ball for a while, Van Eyck. Eventually he gets it back into play, but Sims is dispossessed, and Bryan rolls the ball back to Sarkic once more. Gets it out of his feet, clears it right-footed downfield, but Bobby Thomas heads it up to halfway, but there was a Millwall player onto it straight away, and George Honeyman. Denore dispossessed by good strength by Van Eyck. Sakamoto lobs it into the Millwall half of the field. Sims got his head to it, but couldn't find his teammate right, and instead McNamara guides it back to Tanganga, who gave away the penalty that saw Coventry equalise through Haji Wright on 67 and then Wright again on 70. And that through ball from Zion Fleming is asking rather too much of Tom Bradshaw, but there is another change being readied, and George Saville is going to come on for George Honeyman, so the two Georges swap. 30 years of age now. George Saville returned to Millwall 3 years ago. He originally left for Middlesbrough back in 2018. Tall, rangy midfield player. Be useful at set pieces if Millwall try and win corners and free kicks late on in the game. Different player to Honeyman entirely, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, and Honeyman's ran himself ragged today. I don't think there's anything more that he could have done for the team, and that's all a manager will ask of you. Even if they have to bring you off, just give everything you can for while you're on the pitch, and then there's players that can come on and replace you.
Ball cleared away up to halfway. Danny Mayer's on as well. Adam Mayer on the way for Millwall. Meantime, it's brought away by Jada Silva. Down the left-hand side, O'Hare will just tuck it back to the halfway line. Turned by Victor Torp. O'Hare still on the halfway line, clips it in field to Latibeaudiere. De Silva spots Thomas in a bit of space. Now Van Eyck on this near side, the Coventry right, chips the ball into the area, headed on by Latibeaudiere, who's got forward. Sakamoto tries a half volley, and it drifted to the far post where Haji Wright had a go. but he got underneath the header. Incidentally, it's Zion Fleming that went off to allow Adam Mayer to come on for Millwall. So we're heading into the last 12 minutes of normal time, and it is 2-1 to Coventry City.
Coventry look totally in control, but Millwall, it's only 1 goal to draw level, but I feel like just maybe the attitude, the body language of the players, that I think they were so disappointed and sort of shocked to concede 2 goals in quick succession. They've struggled to get themselves back into this game and have a belief that they can do so.
Adam Mayer just arrived at Millwall from Morecambe, where he made his breakthrough of the past couple of years. Left winger usually. He's playing on the left-hand side of a front three, it seems now, for Millwall. Out on the right-hand side, Denore for Millwall, trying to get back into this game. They've been in front, now they're behind. Bit of space for Joe Bryan on this left-hand side, level with the Coventry penalty area. Swings across in, and it's put behind for a corner kick by Milan van Ewijk. So a corner to Millwall at the north stand end.
That's the right idea in terms of the player, but that ball needs to split the wide player and the outside fullback there, and then Bryan can run onto that in the box.
So Joe Bryan with the resulting left-footed out-swinging corner just down to our left-hand side for Millwall, who trail by 2 goals to 1. In it comes from Bryan, up go the heads, it will drop on the penalty spot, and Denore tried to get the shot away, but the referee had spotted a push, I think on Haji Wright, inside the box, and Coventry will have a free kick and can get the ball clear. Coventry 2, Millwall 1. We're heading towards the last 10 minutes of normal time here on TalkSport 2. Don't forget, from 2 p.m. you can listen back here on 2 to our Road to the Super Bowl specials that we've been bringing you all week, live from Las Vegas on Radio Row, with Will Gavin and the team, with some brilliant special guests. They were chatting with Thierry Henry, Michael Richards and Kate Abdo towards the end of last week, who were out there for the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl itself live on TalkSport tonight from 10:30. The Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas. Now here's Millwall in possession at the edge of their own penalty area with Jake Cooper. Hits it high into the sky, drops on the halfway line. Mayer's trying to get the better of Van Ewijk. Denore runs into trouble in the shape of Lati Bogier. Saville tries to win the ball back. He's been dispossessed. Here goes Callum O'Hare again, trotting towards the edge of the area. Again he feeds Haji Wright, left-hand side of the box. Wright gets to the byline, pulls it back onto the chest of Sarkic to the near post. O'Hare retrieves the loose ball, running out of the penalty area. Can he keep possession? No, he fell, he slipped, and that allowed Millwall to win the ball back. And it's played up to halfway, but Watmore can't get a piece of it, and Binks just hoofs it down the left-hand side, but that'll bounce over Haji Wright and behind for a Millwall goal kick. 2-1 Coventry, 9 minutes to go.
What a difference in this second half for Callum O'Hare. He could barely breathe in the first half without a Millwall player being near him, but I think that's the 3rd time now that he's been able to pick the ball up on the turn and have green space to drive into and not be chased down by 2 or 3 Millwall players.
Back it goes from Saville to his goalkeeper Sarkic. Jake Cooper now has it, left-hand side of his own penalty area. Hits a long diagonal ball seeking out Tom Bradshaw. Bobby Thomas heads it down. Lati Bogier gets there ahead of his man. Toe pokes it back to Van Ewijk. Good persistence from Joel Lati Bogier. And Torp will guide it down to De Silva. 8 minutes to go. Thomas finds Van Ewijk on halfway. Sakamoto calling for it down the line. Picks it up, trying to roll his defender, and fouled him as he tried to do it. As far as referee Kitching was concerned, Millwall's free kick. Joe Bryan will take it. Sarkic showed an interest at first, but it's very tight to this near touch line. Goalkeeper gets that wrong. I know he is going to take it. I'm always wary when goalkeepers take free kicks from so far wide, whether it's left or right. If they don't get it correct, there's a more than a quick jog back to his own goal line. Sarkic though will deliver it right-footed into the air, into the centre of the half, flicked on, looking for Bradshaw to get a piece of it, but it will bobble through to Brad Collins, who will clutch hold of that ball gratefully, and seconds tick away. 7 minutes of normal time to go. on your home of the EFL. Millwall back in action against Ipswich on Wednesday, live on TalkSport 2. Swansea Leeds on Tuesday night, live on your home of the EFL. Now, right-hand side, chance for Watmore to get forward for Millwall. Up against Binks, just holds his run for a moment. Played in to Saville. Saville gets his head up and plays the ball across the line to Jake Cooper, coming forward from halfway. Sims comes across to close him down. He still manages to find Joe Bryant. Now Mayer trying to turn away from Van Ewijk. Good challenge by Milan Van Ewijk. Out to play it goes for a Millwall throw, 10 yards from the corner flag, and Tanganga's going to come across and launch another long throw into the Coventry box. 2-1 Cov.
Yeah, they're going to load the box, and they know now Millwall opportunities will be coming at a premium in these last few minutes, and they need to do everything they can to try and get the equaliser.
Tanganga's throw headed out of the box by Ellis Sims, but Tanganga will get to the loose ball first. He looks to roll it back into his own half for Sarkic. Sarkic near the centre circle, chips the ball up into the centre of the Coventry half. Bradshaw flicks it on, it won't break for Watmore. Volleyed clear by De Silva to nobody in particular, and it will bounce out of play for a throw. Murray Wallace is doing a fairly strenuous warm-up for Millwall down beneath us. Maybe he's one last aerial threat that could be brought on for these last few minutes for Millwall, but we're heading down towards the last 5 of normal time. Collins sends the ball downfield. Sarkic rather sends the ball downfield for Millwall. Adam Mayer down the left-hand side. Good early cross into the box over the head of Watmore. De Silva flicks it away, but McNamara picks up the loose ball down the right-hand side of the Coventry penalty area for Millwall. Laid infield to Tanganga. Lets the ball run across his body to protect it from O'Hare. Cooper finds Joe Bryan up to the edge of the area for Mayer. Good skill from Adam Mayer. Can he whip a cross in? He can. To the far post. It's headed up in the air by Binks. Bradshaw won't get there. Collins just palms the ball away from McNamara and clutches hold of the loose ball as it bobbled out to the left-hand side of the box. 2-1 Coventry.
Collins as well in the end there, and I think Mayer, there's been a couple of opportunities down this left-hand side that he's done really well to fashion opportunity to get the ball in the box, but for me there's not enough Millwall players in there. There's one or two, but I think if you want to try and get yourself back into the game, yes, you might concede, but you're losing anyway, so would you rather not try and get the equaliser and potentially, go 2-2 or lose 3-1? It's just strange that there's a lack of bodies getting forward.
Harding forced to clear his lines on the spin under pressure from Ellis Sims, and he could only shank it into the Coventry fans in that far side of the east stand here. 4 minutes to go. Coventry 2, Millwall 1 on TalkSport 2, plus whatever the referee wants to add on for stoppages and substitutions in this second half. Ball's trickled over the dead ball line for a Millwall goal kick. Sarkic obviously in a hurry to get play restarted away to our right hand side. Cooper's now gone up basically to join the centre forwards for an extra aerial target for these goal kicks, so there is a bit more of a gamble from Joe Edwards and Millwall now. Cooper is the target for that goal kick, but it's headed away by Thomas. Tanganga heads it over the halfway line, but it's picked up by Torp for Coventry, trying to release Hadji Wright down the left hand side. Tanganga's gone out there with him. Tanganga slides in and can't prevent the corner to Coventry City down their left hand side, and it will be Victor Torp to go across to take it. Coventry 2, Millwall 1.
I'm surprised the referee didn't give that as a foul. Yes, Hadji Wright does well chasing back Tanganga, but they looked like there was an arm on the shoulder to me.
But a corner it is. Victor Torp has gone across to that southeast corner. A few Coventry players jostling for position around the penalty spot. Wright's in there, Latibergier and Binks all around the penalty spot. Torp, right-footed in-swinger, right to the crossbar again, off the back of a Coventry defender. I think it was Bobby Thomas who tried to get the contact, and the attempted clearance from Joe Bryan, that is shanked as well into this near stand for another Coventry throw, this time on their right-hand side. 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. Coventry hanging on and going back into the playoff places as things stand. Yeah, goal difference was always going to be better than Sunderland. They started with a plus 12 goal difference. Sunderland's was plus 10 after their good win against Stoke yesterday. Coventry trying to win the ball just inside the Millwall half. Well played by Bobby Thomas to shield the ball from Mayer, and then Joe Bryan with a little nibble at Sakamoto gives Coventry a free kick, and they've got the ball exactly where they want it, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just about these final minutes now, the game management, not doing anything too silly with the ball, just getting that quality right on the ball to keep it, and drawing challenges like that.
Yeah, this time Saville just clipping Callum O'Hare as he tried to spin midway point of the Millwall half. Coventry have worked it back to Thomas, and indeed all the way back to Collins. Right-footed clearance from the Coventry keeper looking for Haji Wright. Just evaded the American and goes out of play for a Millwall throw. Heading towards the last minute of normal time on TalkSport 2. Coventry have that precious 2-1 advantage, having come from behind here. What have Millwall got left in their bid to arrest this run of 5 games without a win in all competitions? Their last win was New Year's Day at Bristol City. Looking at what they've got next. Ipswich to come Wednesday night on TalkSport 2, then home to Sheffield Wednesday. That looms large as what could be a relegation encounter on Saturday. Then they go away to Southampton, Millwall, home to Watford, away at Blackburn, and home to Birmingham, whereas Coventry away at Plymouth next, and then another away trip to Stoke, home to Preston, and then the FA Cup tie here on a Monday night against Maidstone United, which will be live on the TalkSport network. But we're heading round towards added time. 4th official lead out. He's about to hold up the board, and it's 3 minutes that we're into now. 3 minutes of minimum added time for Coventry to hang on, for Millwall to try and find an equaliser. Saville plays the ball up to halfway. Mayer with a light touch, and he caught Van Ewijk on the follow-up, and it's a free kick to Coventry, and Van Ewijk has stayed down.
Yeah, he did. I think he's trying to argue in that he gets the ball, but it comes straight through the back of the player before he does.
So Van Ewijk is not going to require any treatment, so he is going to get back to his feet and move away awkwardly. And Victor Torp will have the free kick eventually. So nearly a minute of that minimum 3 has already elapsed. Coventry edging closer to 3 more points, and it is only 1 defeat in 14 for Coventry in that defeat at Norwich. They are asking lots of questions of those around them in that race for a place in the playoffs.
Home form as well is really propping them up. It's important, it always is, to accrue those points at home and try and make it a fortress, and they're certainly doing that this season. Yeah,
as we mentioned, only West Bromwich Albion have come away from the Coventry Building Society Arena with all 3 points. Now, foul on George Saville by Callum O'Hare gives Millwall a chance to work the ball into the box. Not done here yet by any stretch. Millwall will load the penalty area here. The free kick is about 15 yards inside the Coventry half of the field, to the left of centre. Saville and Bryan are the 2 players standing over it, and Coventry really trying to hold as high a line as they possibly can, so they're not right on top of their goalkeeper. They're about 25 yards out the line of sky blue shirts as Bryan stands over the free kick. Watmore's moved away, Saville's moved away, so Joe Bryan with this left-footed delivery for Millwall into the box. A couple of Coventry players have gone down. Ellis Sims heads it half clear, headed back into the box. Saville heads it up in the air. Where's that going to break? Jada Silva can't find it. Watmore goes down inside the area, no foul. Cleared away hurriedly by Coventry, but only at the expense of a throw. Last minute of added time. Tanganga's going to send another long throw into the Coventry box to try and get an equaliser. In it comes from Tanganga into the near post. Harding can't get the flick on. McNamara darts down the right hand side of the area, gets the crossing, cleared away by Lati Budgier. All hands to the pump for Coventry City to hold on to this scoreline. Saville just over the halfway line, hits a diagonal ball up to the edge of the area, flicked on by Harding. Sakamoto heads clear for Coventry, drops in the centre of the half. Sakamoto again nodded over halfway. Back goes Bryan to retrieve it. The 3 minutes are up And the referee blows the full-time whistle, and Coventry City are back in the Championship top 6, and they've come from behind to beat Millwall by 2-1. A double from Haji Wright, 2 goals in 3 minutes, midway point of the second half settled it. Romain Esse had given Millwall an early lead in the first half, and Millwall deserved that lead at the break, but Coventry kept on trying, kept on scheming, kept on finding ways to hem Millwall in. They made a couple of changes. Haji Wright shifted to the left-hand side of the front line, and it's his day in the end, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. He makes it 10 for the season, and Coventry are back in the playoff places.
Yeah, it was by no means a vintage Coventry performance, and that was due to Millwall being fantastic in the first half. The way that they set up and got their wing-backs really high and just smothered Coventry, didn't allow them to get into the game. But as you mentioned, Dance, that change there, I thought Casey Palmer was unlucky to come off the pitch, to be honest, because he played well, but the fact that Haji Wright went out on that left-hand side, it just gave him a bit more opportunity to get on the ball. He did really well with the way that he won the penalty, because Tanganga had to come through the back of him. His body positioning was absolutely fantastic. I think Sarkic will be really disappointed with the second Coventry goal. He has to save it, it's as simple as that. But the fact that movement, Callum O'Hare as well, he was hardly in the game in the first half because of the way that he was marked. But again, in that second half, he was managed to get on the ball, managed to be influential, play the balls through to Haji Wright, and in the end, Coventry find a way to win, and that's a very, very good habit to have.
And for Haji Wright, who's had a strange start, you know, he was the man brought in with a lot of the money that was recouped for the sale of Victor Gyökeres, and he's now finding some form. It wasn't the most convincing of finishes that won it, as you say. Sarkic will say he should have done better, been beaten at his near post. But for Haji Wright, he must be feeling so much better about life now as a Coventry striker. Got into double figures, and he's contributing an awful lot to this sky blue side.
Yeah, I mean, big boots to fill, Gyökeres, both literally
and figuratively.
And figuratively, but look, you're getting double figures for a season for a striker. That's always important. Yes, he'll be disappointed with the opportunity he missed early on in the game, but the fact that he's gone on, he's been confident, he's took it on himself to go, right, actually I'm taking the penalty, I'm the man that wants to step up and do that, I've got the confidence to do it, then to get the second goal. Look, sometimes they roll in, sometimes it's a keeper's mistake, sometimes they come off the side of your face, or sometimes you rifle one in the top corner. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. At the end of the game, at the end of the season, it doesn't say how you've scored the goal, it just has your name and the time you've scored it. So that's important for his confidence, and he now needs to take that going forward.
So Coventry back into 6th in the Championship. Millwall, will they stay 18th? Only 4 points clear of the drop zone, and they will take on Ipswich next on Wednesday night. What of Joe Edwards? What will he have felt about this performance? There's lots to recommend in what we've seen from Millwall this afternoon, even if they have been beaten.
Yeah, I think he'll be very, very happy with the first half. We've mentioned how difficult it is here to come to CBS Arena and try and beat Coventry. In the first half, they were excellent, and the game plan was quality. George Honeyman, by the way, I think he was brilliant in the first half, and the way that the wing-backs got high, but they struggled to repeat that in the second half. Was it a little bit of confidence? Maybe it's even fitness, because it takes a lot to press and be aggressive the way that they did. So Joe Edwards will go back to the drawing board in that sense, and maybe it's a little bit of game management in the fact that, right, if you're going to press for a lot for the first half, you've maybe got to pick and choose your moments and conserve your energy at times, where it was probably for 40 minutes of that first half all out. So maybe it's looking at actually when they pick and choose those moments to press, to be aggressive, so they can do that for the entirety of the game.
Milan Van Ewijk is leading the chants as they just walk around the perimeter of the pitch. And here he goes again, Van Ewijk. He's almost falling over in that sort of desperation to do the Klopp sort of yay.
Oh, don't let Jamie Carragher see that. He'll be over celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want the celebration police on the phone. But that is only still one home defeat for Coventry all season, and they are very much in amongst the business end of this Championship season. And you would write them off, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, at your peril.
Well, yeah, and I think I said this earlier in the season when they're a bit further down the table. I said Coventry is my outside shout for them to make the playoffs, and I said it at the time. I sort of said I don't think it was an outside shout. I knew that they'd get better. And especially getting Callum O'Hare back, that's absolutely massive. You know the quality he brings, and actually you probably say this quietly around a lot of Coventry fans near me, but they probably need to have a good run, get to the playoffs as a minimum, and try and get to the Premier League, because if they don't, I don't know if they're going to keep hold of him.
They want a new contract out of him, and that's yet to be agreed. Maybe that's predicated from Callum O'Hare's point of view as to where Coventry ends.